Good afternoon, I am Adventure Argonaut. This is Stafford case. We solved the third case yesterday, last night, and well, now there's still like the aftermath stuff to go through, I guess. But after that, we're gonna start a new case and see what sort of crimes we will uncover. My streams are looking functional. Let's go find the right save slot. I guess it's this one. I bet that the victim keeping his wife out of that shed was out of concern for her safety. After all, there was some dangerous stuff in the shed. Hey, Agent Doberhertz, let's crack some balls, indeed, and nuts. Balls and nuts, and also some, I don't know, cups, whatever. He probably figured that as long as he didn't bring those dangerous items into his house, things would be okay. If he had only told Mrs. Miller about their skills, none of this would have happened. Considering everything she said, I think it was Elle who didn't want to hear about it. That's why she had no idea her husband had done something as moronic as bringing 4 unauthorized pieces of staff under their roof. If they had talked about the staff, but single time they'd have brushed all of this off like it was nothing. Was it a question of their passion cooling as one might expect? Quite the opposite. With the two of them, love ran much deeper than trust. They were each afraid of disappointing the other, so they gave up on finding out more about their better halves. That mindset made them happy up until that final moment, but they couldn't see the flaw in their plan until it brought down everything. Trust can be quite an obstacle to navigate during an investigation. Yes, it's such a necessity for people to be able to go about their daily lives. Sergeant, about that, something strikes me as odd. What do you mean? You say trust is an obstacle during investigations, yet you headed back to the scene with me before hearing all the logic that brought me there. That was because you trusted me, didn't you? No. That wasn't me trusting you, Note. At that time, in fact, I would have been perfectly fine if you were wrong. Come to think of it, there's something I've been meaning to ask Detectives Brian and Tina about. Brian will probably be down in the office. Thank you. I'll head down first then. Good work today. Whatever. Sergeant. Yes? On my way back, I bought some black tea at the local department store. I put it out in the office, so have a cup later on. Maybe it's poisoned. Alright. Well then. Speaking of drinks, we're out of coffee. How ironic, I'm also drinking black tea as we speak. Well, actually, as I spoke, I wasn't because I was speaking, but whatever. How very odd. Detective Brian, what's going on here? Note, look here. Wow, the chief is actually sorting through paperwork. That's incredible. I think this is the first time I've ever seen the chief do any actual work. It's the first time I'm seeing it as well. Chief, about the favor I asked before. He's so absorbed in his work that he ignored me when I tried to strike up conversation. Did he hit his head or something? Well, I guess he'd know enough to take care of it. That aside, I've got something I've been meaning to ask you, Detective Brian. Maybe the chief was possessed by some staff skill or something. Right, Then and I are parting ways, and I parting ways, not are. They parted ways long ago. I told you I'd address that before, didn't I? You did, and I was hoping to hear more about it. Would that be alright? If you don't want to talk about it, I could always ask Detective Fena. Meaning you'll figure it out one way or another. I mean, doesn't really matter. Like I said before, there's no inciting incident that led to our parting ways. Three years earlier. Hey, Cocky. Cocky. How long are you gonna keep that up? Keep what up? Helping people without question whenever they ask for it. There must be some goal you're trying to achieve with everything, no? I intend to keep it going as close to forever as I can, but it may turn out to be difficult after I turn 80. Are you serious? Yes, there's a goal, as you say, but this isn't something I'm forcing myself to do. I'd probably be doing exactly the same thing if I wasn't born a staffer. If you're worried about my being used by someone, you really needn't be concerned. I have certain boundaries set as a minimum. I mean, that was on my mind, but truly, as the woman you're currently in a relationship with, I can't help but be jealous. I wished you'd direct all that commitment my way alone. If you're telling me to stop, I may be able to, but no, I'm not saying that. I don't want to force you to stop. Honestly, it was a rather dumb thought. I know how much it means to you. After all, I've got aspects of my own personality that no one can come to terms with. I'm sure you hate them, but choose to hold your tongue. I wouldn't say hate. I see how you tremble every time I resort to violence. I see everything. Sorry about that. From society's standpoint, I do believe that's something I should be apologizing for. I just can't anymore. Cocky, do me just one favor. Of course, anytime. From now on, don't do me any more favors. I apologize, but what is that supposed to mean? Exactly what it sounds like. From now on, if you do me one single favor, expect a bullet as payment. From you? That doesn't sound like much of a joke. It wasn't one. If there's a single person who's willing to help every other person in this world, wouldn't it be good for there to be at least one person he should be allowed to refuse? I'll be that person for you. Do you know what you're saying? If you're being serious right now, then everything between us... Right. It would be hard to keep a relationship going. Still, in this way, I'll be a special someone for you in some regard. What do you think? Good, huh? It's a bit unfair. Huh? Then I need you to swear to me that you won't hurt anyone in front of me from this point on. Then I can be a special someone for you in a different regard. In that way, it becomes fair. What are you implying? I knew it. You do hate that part of me. You're right, I do hate it. I hate it every time you resort to that. Good, I'm actually glad to hear that. Well then, thanks for everything. And I'll be counting on you, Brian. That's pretty much how things went. From that day on, our relationship was terminated, but she became a genuine partner to me instead. Good story, huh? Honestly, I really don't follow. That goes for your relationship with Detective Thena and the relationship the Millers had going. Is there really a part you can't wrap your head around? Please don't say it like that. I made my fair share of mistakes today. Ah, there you are. Huh? What's going on? There are two chiefs. See? Bring me a pastry from the bakery, Bullet. Yeah, I was thinking, didn't she ask him to bring her a croissant, like in the last chapter or something? And did he refuse her? Because I don't think he refused. Maybe I'm misremembering, but yeah, it's not a surprise that there's some staff stuff going on if the chief is doing something useful. No? So, he disappeared. She was testing him and he refused. Ah, okay. A full 30 minutes active, not bad. Is this supposed to be your idea of a joke? Are you a staffer too, Chief? Detective case. That's a horrible joke to make. I wonder if he was using the flour. Yeah, I used this. The dried flour? Does the victim's staff know? It's just like the sergeant said, that staff creates a copy of a person. His orders through that paperwork, just as I ordered him to. Seems like his intelligence isn't all too different from mine. I'm also quite fond of the fact that he disappears alongside the petal I plucked. Maybe there's something wrong with me, but when I read this, I how I understood how this power works. Like, what if you use it for prostitutes? Like, a woman plucks the flower, makes a clone of herself, and sends the clone to be, fucked. So then she doesn't actually have to do it. We are detectives here. Is it really okay to be going around using staff like that? What are you going on about now? This is evidence. We've got a job to do sorting through it all. Thanks to your active role in everything, we didn't have materials messing in our affairs. Instead, we reaped all the rewards. I got all the anger out of my system, so there's no need to fret. We cleared out all the records of the staff seller too, so you don't need to worry about her either. You did what now? Why are you so shocked? Wasn't that what you requested I do? When did I ask you to do that? I asked you to... Crap, maybe I'm not too late. Detective Brian, where is materials located? You'll find them on the 3rd floor. Go to room CA1 and tell them Brian sent you. Thanks. Nice lad, too late, but keep him busy. The busier a detective looks, the more trustworthy he is. Is that why you seem so busy? Been running around with the underground these days? Underground. Was that weather underground? Oh well, I guess I'll ask you about that when the time is right. I was just trying to help Sergeant Redfins, but unfortunately it seems like the message didn't get all the way to Detective Case here. What's this about the Sarge all of a sudden? You didn't know? Detective Case called me earlier. He told me that he called in all those people who solved their staff. He asked me to waive Sergeant Redfins of all punishments if he could solve the case in under 2 hours. I did as he asked, but I must say, young people these days have no manners. Anyway, I should be off to test that musical box. But how about the guy who pulled the knife on them? I guess he should still get punished. Like, maybe he won't get punished for selling the stuff, but surely attacking police or whatever bureau officers should be a punishable offense. Not too smart, Note. Do you really not get it? I really don't think. There's a single thing you're unable to understand. Note, there's something I've been hiding from you. You may think my refusal to tell you is a sort of betrayal. But this is a secret I just can't let you out into the open. It's probably gonna be something sort of disappointing and boring when we do find out. I'll never confess this to you in person. Quite the opposite. It's a secret you must uncover yourself. Seems a bit gay. You have to find my dark hidden spot. Note. After all, it's the reason you came to London. I cannot believe that the time will come and wait for it patiently. I have no choice but to trust in you and wait. Alright, now we have finished with the case. The wizard's room. Endo. Return to case select screen. Case for mistletoe, Oppenheimer. Threat level, oh, so that's like even higher than Estinino, whatever the level 4 danger level was, the tank. Threat level applied to phenomena as dangerous as atomic bombs. In the basement of the Bureau lies a facility that houses these Oppenheimers. Name Mithril Raj. Oh my god. I think a book should start with this phrase, Mithril Roger, and it makes me think of Rutger Hauer, but like with elf ears and stuff. He's still alive. He should make like, I have to get rich soon before he dies, or he's just too old to make movies. At least, well, Hobo with a Shotgun, that's like at least a decade old, but he was, he's old in that, but not not ancient. So anyway, I have to make the movie where he's, I don't know, some elf, Rutger Hauer. Skill Severance Protection. So wait, means that something cannot be cut, cannot be severed. Threat level, Oppenheimer. That girl's skill separates her body from any damage that may be done to it. No bullet can break her skin. Toxins move straight through her, not affecting her in the slightest. Damn, sounds like boring. I guess she cannot get drunk or anything. Her skill is activated subconsciously, remaining awake even when she sleeps. To put it in a word, her skill makes her invincible. So let's get right down to business. How did Miss Mithril die? Ah, okay, that actually sounds... Well, wait, Mithril is a girl, I guess that makes sense. But yeah, okay, now I'm excited, like, not excited, but intrigued about this mystery. And also, how did it happen inside the cell she was locked in? So, it's Christmas Eve. I'm drinking tea in the office. Would you like some more? Let's do a save now. Yes, thank you. Huh? Note, is that black tea you're drinking today? It is. Seeing you drink it all the time, Sergeant, got me curious about the taste. But didn't they just say they... Well, okay, that was a couple of months ago that they didn't have coffee, so... Is that so? Would you like some more too, then? No. In the end, it's coffee for me. Showing your true colors. Showing my preferences, to be more precise. Look at you, really opening up. Truly, how long has it been since we were able to put down the paperwork and enjoy a spot of tea? That's all thanks to Note's arrival and the dramatic increase in the speed in which we solve our cases. We don't have a single case in our backlog, and the last few days have been nothing but peace and quiet. Do you think we might even be able to take Christmas off this year? Wake up from whatever dream you're in. I've never seen a Christmas pass quietly in London. Last year, Santa Claus was wedged in between the bells in the square. And the year before that, there was an incident where a nun was turned into a tree ornament. Sounds like fun. 3 years ago, that bloke dressed as Rudolph stabbed a person to death with a candy cane. Can I really keep living here? But we finished that investigation up quickly and the four of us were able to celebrate. We went straight to Johnny's secret spot. Who's Johnny? Is the dead partner or something? What's going on? Why this sudden mood shift? Because was it her that she had some partner who died or something? I think it was hinted at a long time ago. John Medan. 2 years back, he was a detective here at the Manor Affairs Division. I see. Seems like he worked here before me. They all seem reluctant to give me any details, though. Did something happen to him? You're all here. Who's this now? The chief? Sarge. Please tell us what business you have here and be on your way. No time for jokes. You've been summoned. The underground called. They asked for the Manor Affairs division by name. Okay, that's what he meant by underground, because he asked Brian if he's been underground or something. Underground? This building has a basement. We should be running. Detective Thena? Everyone, make for the front door if you want to leave. Calm down. Pull yourself together. There's no use running for the door. You should break through the window to make it out or escape instead. I don't want to die. Is this really curtains for us? Even Detective Brian's worked up about this. What sort of place is this underground they're talking about? The Bureau's ground floors manage and control the phenomena that happen out there in the world, and we try to reduce any shock waves they may cause. However, the work of the ground floors is nothing but a show we put on for the normal folks out there. The real Bureau business happens on the basement floors. And what real business might that be? I guess human experiments and the like. And the like? Only the people in the underground know exactly what goes on down there, and no one who goes down there returns to the ground floors. I mean, that last part's just a rumor, but such a long-lasting rumor must have its roots in truth. So what does that mean for us now? We savor this cup of tea, because it may be our last. Just as I thought. I should have had coffee. Yeah, I feel you. What's going on? Miss M. I've come to escort you to underground. Please follow me. They're here. You'll never catch me. Wait. Rather than pointlessly putting up a fight, don't come my way. Okay, Pikachu shock. Oh goody, we are the bad guys, aren't we? Well, not we, but like, not the, our people here working in the office, but I guess the agency or the bureau, well, or I guess maybe this is like lesser of two evils or something. Maybe that could be argued. After all, if there's these Oppenheimer level people down there, they could really, devastate the whole earth. Some of them at least. Why me too? This is Mari. I've restrained the 3 who were resisting. I need 3 men to carry their unconscious. Will I only need 3? Yep. Requesting 3 men. I'll lead the rest of them downstairs. Who are you? No need to get too friendly. Just call me M. You said Mari before, no? Call me M. What's wrong with her eyes?
それでは M さん
Well, tell me, Sam,
どう
why
して
are
僕
you
たちを
taking us to
地
the
下に連れて
underground?
行く
The underground
オッペンハイマーを管理
is
する
where we
ための施
house the
設で
facility that manages our
私は
Oppenheimers.
そこの監視官です
I'm a guard down there.
今日施設で
Today
事件
there
が
was
発
an
生しました
incident in the facility.
あ
The
なたたちは
division
そ
will
の事
be
件を捜査され
investigating it.
オッペンハイマ
Oppenheimer.
ノート、ステッパーの危険レベルは覚えているわ
Note, you memorized the threat levels for phenomena, right?
ーはい無害と判断されるアンアー
As
ムド
there's unarmed for people
そこから
viewed as
boy,
harmless. After that
Colt,
we have Bowie, Colt,
STN
and
の順で
SDN
レ
from
ベ
the
ルが
lowest to
高くなるんで
highest,
したよね
right?
そうよ
That's right.
対外的には
Out there people think that
戦士と同
SDN
レ
is
ベ
the
ルの危
highest
険
threat
性を持
level.
った STN が本当はその上に2つのレベルがある
But in truth there are 2 levels higher than that. Ooh, so what's the highest, like Galactus or something?
STN より
One
一
threat
段
level
階
higher
高い
than
レベル
SDN is
オ
Oppenheimer.
ッペンハイマーの存在
Oppenheimers pose a threat
国家的
at
被害を生む
national
危
level.
険性を秘めている
Thus it's the Bureau's job to capture the Oppenheimers and isolate them from the rest of society.
私たちは今から
That's probably where we are going, to the facility where they keep the Oppenheimers locked away. Highest is Death Star. That's no moon.
そうですか
I
それ
see.
で
Then
そのさらに上は何なんですか
what's the next level up?
さらに上
The next
さっ
level,
き
you said
STN
there
よ
are
り高い
2
レベルが
levels higher
2つあ
than
るとおっしゃい
SDN,
ましたよ
didn't
ね
you? What's
オッ
after
ペンハイマーの
Oppenheimer?
上は
そんなこと言って
I
ないけ
said
ど
nothing of the sort.
え
Yeah?
言いましたよ
You did
言っ
too.
ていないでしょう
Did not. What are they trying to pull?
それよりご準備を
You two should
こ
really
こから
be
先は
getting
ア
ready
イマ
for
ス
the
クを
next
着用
part.
して移動してもらいま
From
す
here on out, I'm gonna have to blindfold the both of you.
はい
Okay.
ノート
Note,
危険レベル
the threat levels were named after the
その
people
武器を
who
生み
dreamed
出
up
した
those
人の名前か
weapons.
ら取られている核兵器を生み
That
出
last
した
threat
人
level was named after
その人の名前を冠したレベル
the man who created nuclear bomb. You know what that means, right?
想像がつくでしょう
Things are getting weird. It's getting a bit X-Files-y or something.
一つ
I just want to tell you one thing.
今から見るも
Don't
の
think common sense can make heads or tails of anything you're about to see. Nice. Common sense is for commoners, not for true aristocrats like me. Mithril Rajgar, Shia Berryfin. Okay. How about Shunni Shabalum? Pandaria Redfins. Case 4. Mistletoe. Oh yeah, because it's Christmas. It's Christmas in heaven. Dabby-dee-dabby-dee-doo. Bureau Underground area. Here you are, an Indian black tea called Assam grown in the Bureau of Certified Tea Garden.
こちらにください
Could you hand that one over to me,
それ
please?
から
After that, we got
Panama
coffee
地方の
made
厳
from
格な
beans
基準
grown
で
in
選
strict
別された
conditions
豆で
down
で
in
きたコーヒー
Panama.
です。
こちらにお願いしま
That'd
す
be for me.
ありがとうございます
Thank
そ
you.
して水道
Finally,
水5ガロンです
5 gallons of tap water.
そこに転がって
That
い
would
る
be
3
for our
人にお願い
friends
し
lying
ます
here, please. Is this heaven? See, it's Christmas in heaven.
神様
Oh, please, oh Lord, they all deserve to die.
テナ
Sinner? Pandy? Of course, I'm in hell, aren't I?
どういう意味か
What's
しら
that supposed to mean?
ここは一体
We're on God's green earth. Where on God's green earth are we?
管理局の地
The
下ですよ
Bureau's underground section.
ここが
This is the underground?
こんなに
But
明るい
it's
の
so
に
bright.
ここは
Well, then, here we have space reserved for our Oppenheimer staffers, in order to keep their stress levels to minimum. We tried to construct it to be similar to the ground floors as similar to the ground floors as we could manage. Yeah, Oppenheimer? There were Oppenheimers under our feet the whole time.
オッペンハイマーがいたってこと？
課長は地下
I
につい
guess
て
the chief knows
少しは
little
知っている
about
み
what
たいだ
goes on down here.
課長の言う通り
It's as the chief said, this facility was built to manage the staffers who were designated the threat level Oppenheimer.
そして私たちは
They summoned us
ここ
here
で
to
起きた
investigate a
殺人事件
murder
を
that
捜査す
occurred
る
in
た
their
めに連れて
facility.
こられた
殺人事件
Murder?
管理局の
Inside the
内部で
bureau?
そう
That's right. Let me fill you in on what note and I have learned. At the time of the murder, this facility held 4 people with a threat level rating of Oppenheimer. The victim was one of those 4 people, a woman who went by the name of Mithril Raja. She doesn't look like Mithril. She should be, you know, more silvery or at least blonde or something. Rutger was found dead inside her private cell at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The cause of death is currently unknown. Problem is Rutger's skill, Severance Protection. A skill disconnected from her from anything that would have caused her bodily harm. But could she, like, starve to death? Moreover, this skill was triggered outside of Rutger's will and knowledge. In a word, she was invincible. Yet, despite her skill, her body was found within a tightly controlled facility. I'm just thinking, like, imagining scenarios. Like, okay, you blow up a nuke next to her. Like, she wouldn't take any damage from the nuke, but at least it would, you know, jettison her, like, you know, long way away, like, you know, into the orbit. Well, not quite, not literally, but sort of like in, was it in like Fallout 3? That's commonplace. Well, I guess we have to find out. So I'm just like, if it's Severance Protection, why does it also protect from poison and also disease then, I guess? The whole situation seems impossible through normal means. Our prime suspects are the 3 Oppenheimer-ranked staffers who were kept alongside her. Of course, maybe somebody could have a staffer skill that allows them to nullify another person's skill, but that's sort of like, you know, too simple probably. Anyway, since they carry skills with the threat level of Oppenheimer, they may have made the impossible possible. Our job is to meet each one and find out who was able to harm Mithril. That's why we were brought down here. How about her hymen? How is that protect? You there, guard. What sort of joke are you trying to pull? Consider the value of these Oppenheimers and how much our nation just lost. To think such a thing could have happened despite all this surveillance. This sort of occurrence is simply unprecedented, no? Yet you lot are going to leave such a matter of national importance in the hands of the weakest link of our London branch, the Man Affairs Division? Have you all lost your minds? So we're the weakest link. I see. This was not my decision. Then whose was it? Mine. So who's this? Oh, he looks evil. It's like some German Bond villain from a surprisingly Bond movie. Hey there, Brian, is that perhaps... Indeed, our assumption is correct. Who are you exactly? What are you saying? This is Herman Mond. He's the cabinet secretary. He's famous here at the bureau. See, Herman. So see, he is German. Probably. Don't ever cut me off again. No, my apologies, sir. He didn't cut off anyone though, did he? He said what I was gonna say. So he did indeed cut me off. So he can read minds. Huh? What was that for? To make a direct show of the fact that I am in a position to use violence whenever I please and without reason. Okay, I like this guy. Actions are more effective than words. I think there should be a game where this guy is the protagonist. One thing's for certain, you can immediately tell he's high-ranking official. Cabinet Secretary, sir, I'm beside myself for forgetting the contribution you made in founding the Bureau. I deserve your best shot. Hit me again. Is the Bond villain who actually managed to kill Bond? Yeah, that sounds legit. Or so he's actually some woke Hollywood executive. Bending over backwards less than 5 seconds after a guy whacks you for no reason. Seriously, the man takes opportunism to the level of a phenom. Something like a phenomenon. I see you're all listening back there. As you may have figured out by now, I am the one who called you here. My word, what an honor that is. We've had an incident we can't quite make sense of. And I heard that all of you are good at finding oddities, yes. Yes, that's our specialty. Chief, I'd love it if you'd shut up for a second. From this point forward, this investigation is all yours. Blue hair over there will fill you in on the details. Sunglasses here doesn't look like he'll be much of help, so he can come share a meal with me. Pardon? Oh, of course. I would be honored. You lad, you have your spork with you, yes? I do, sir. Keep it turned over. I want to hear everything. I'm giving you four of you 2 hours while I'm enjoying my meal. I'm going to figure out everything out about this case, then report back here. That doesn't sound tough at all. Only 2 hours. Give us a weird nickname too, please. Right, wait, did somebody have a nickname or something? I'm confused now. Just to warn you, this case is not about finding justice. It's about improving this facility and preventing such a thing from happening again. Wait, did I give somebody a nickname or did the game give somebody a nickname? My brain is completely blank on that. It's enough about our culprit. We need to figure out how and why this happened. If we can't figure all that out, there was no reason for calling you all down here. Sunglasses, yeah, okay. Yeah, so I don't know, Penhead. We are not Eraserhead. David Lynch reference. We are Penhead. Please make see how valuable your division is. What was that all about? Herman Mond, commonly referred to by his rank of cabinet secretary, is the deputy director of the Phenomena Bureau. He laid the foundations for how we work at the Bureau by creating things like the threat level system. He doesn't do much in the outside world, but he is the de facto head of the Bureau, handling every key issue that lands on his desk by his lonesome. I heard rumors he was eccentric, but he put those rumors to shame. I'm just glad he didn't turn his harassment our way. I wouldn't breathe that sigh of relief just yet. We just came to know a lot of the truth wrapped up in a secret facility. If the cabinet secretary doesn't view us as valuable enough to keep on living, there's a high possibility we could be removed for secrecy's sake. Actually, since it's the cabinet secretary we are talking about, I'm sure he'd do just that. To sum up everything, we just have to solve the case down here. Then we've got nothing to worry about. This is our specialty. That's quite the arrogant way of putting it. But it's just as Note says, our job remains what it always is. Whether our lives hang on the balance or not, nothing changes. Nothing ever changes. We got to put everything we have into solving this case. That we must. Well then, shall we be off as usual with our minds perfectly at ease? I don't think that's what you meant. Shall we start off by having a look at the body? Guard, could you please lead us in that direction? Right away, follow me. I'm gonna go get some water for my tea and then I'll be right back. What? Are you back? This is the scene of the
ガ
crime.
ラス張りの監
A
獄
prison cell made of
まるで
glass.
巨大な水槽みたいだ
This feels like a giant aquarium tank.
それに
Also, maybe she's actually a fish. Also, a
2
library.
つの部屋がく
Are
っつい
these
てい
two
るの
rooms attached to each other?
被害者はここで暮らしていたんです
Are
か
these the victims' living quarters?
すべての
Yes,
オッペンハイ
all
マ
of
ー
our
の居住空間
Oppenheimer's
こう
living
なってい
quarters
ま
are
す
just like this.
右に隣接して
And
い
the
る
room
ス
to
ペ
the
ース
right,
そこはオッペン
that's a
ハイマーの
lounge
スト
where
レス
our
管理のための
Oppenheimers
研
can
究
go
室
to
で
let
す
off a little steam.
被害者以外
And
の
not
オッ
just
ペンハイマー
victim,
も
all
利用する場所
Oppenheimers
です
use that room.
どうして休憩
Why is
室
it
が
attached to the
被害者の
victim's
部屋
room
と
though?
隣
後ほどご説明し
I'll
ます
explain that later. Maybe they can like move around, like maybe they're like you know, like some modern Asian car, like Japanese car parks or something, that there's sort of like a, you know, rotating system maybe.
死体がまだ残
I
って
see
い
the
ますね
body is still in there. No plans for an autopsy?
できないんです
We can't. So the power still works. The invincibility. Excuse me?
私が答えられるのは
That's
こ
as
こ
much
ま
as
で
I
で
can
す
tell you about that.
施設に
The
関する
cabinet
質問に
secretary
だけ
ordered
答
me
え
only
る
to
ように
answer questions about this
管理官からね
facility.
それ以上は自分たちで
Well,
捜
then we'll
査
have
し
to
ろって
figure
こ
out
と
the
です
rest
ね
of over the course of our
仕
investigation.
方ないわね
Can't be helped.
ノート
You ready, Note?
はい
Yep.
よし
Good. Let's
怪しい場
investigate
所
any
を
part
全
of
て
the
調
room
べ
you
てみましょう
deem suspicious. I just have to comment, like this is like, you know, a superhero stuff done right. Because one thing I don't like superhero stuff is that they basically only, like, you know, in a world with superpowers, like in your average superhero stuff, they just superheroes protect the status quo, and supervillains want to change the status quo. So I always sympathize with the villains usually. But like here we see how society would change if people had superpowers. So this is like an adult version of superhero stuff, and it's fine for kids. You like Spider-Man or whatever, but it's like yeah, as an adult, like I used like superhero stuff when I was a kid, but already before the modern MCU and all that stuff, I was like superheroes are so lame. And anyways, let's get back to this. Because I don't dislike the idea of superpowers, I just dislike the way they're usually handled. Okay, let's check the bed.
被害者のベッドですね
That's the victim's bed.
苦しむ息の記憶
I
が
hear the
残っているわ
labored breathing of someone in pain.
最近になるほ
The
ど
more recent
ひ
the
どさが
memory,
増
the
している
worse the sound. Was
被
the
害者
victim
の
dealing
体
with
に
an illness or
何か問
injury?
題があったのかしら
被害者の死は
It seems quite likely that the victim's death was far from quick, taking her slowly instead. Maybe she suffocated?
その原因が探し出せればいい
I
んだ
hope
が
we can find what caused it.
そうい
The
えば
body, come to think of it, this is the first time I'm seeing an
ちゃんと
actual
死体を見るのはこれが
corpse since
初めて
I
です
joined this division.
普段私たちが
Normally
現
the
場に
police
到
would
着
have
するのは
already carted off the
死体が消
body.
被害者には申し
My
訳ありません
apologies
が
to the deceased,
この
but I
状態
can't
では
make
よ
out
く
that
見え
much
ない
with
の
her
で
like this.
体をひ
I'll
っく
have
り
to
返さない
turn the
と
body.
意外と落ち着いて対処するん
You're
だな
surprisingly calm about all
故
this.
郷では穴が開い
Back
たものを
home,
たくさん見てき
I
まし
saw
た
a few bodies that were closer to Swiss cheese.
知れば知るほどびっく
The
り
more I
するよう
find
な
about
場
the
所で暮ら
place,
し
the
て
more
たんだ
surprised
ね
I am to know you lived there.
12の
1, 2, 3. It won't move.
まったく
Come on now, what a
気弱
weakling.
なんだ
Move
から
over. Ugh. I like her sounds. Like, yeah.
これ
Beside the fact that I can't move her at all, it feels like I'm not even grabbing hold of the body.
被害者の断
They
絶
said
スキ
that
ル
the victim's severance skill happened without her knowledge.
まさか
No way, so
被害者
even
が
though
死
the
んだ後も
victim's
ス
dead,
キ
her
ルは
skill
発
is
動し
still
続けて
active.
る
But how
って
do
こ
they
とです
know
か
she's actually dead then? Maybe she's alive, but I don't know, not breathing because she has weird powers anyway.
監視官は死体を
It's
片
not that
付
the
けなかっ
guards
たわけ
left
じゃ
her
ない
there
の
on
よ
purpose, it's that they can't move
単
her.
に片付けられなかったのよ
What if they excavate the ground around her? Can they move that, or is she somehow like they have anti-grav as well, or what? or is she just like super heavy?
今は目に見える範囲で死体を
Well,
確認するしか
we
な
now
さ
have
そう
to
だ
assess the body based on the appearances alone.
とりあえず外傷はないみたい。
First things first, I see no signs of a struggle on the body, though it's impossible for her to be injured regardless.
顔がよく見
I
えま
can't
せ
get
ん
a
が
good look at the victim's
かなり痩せて
face,
いるよ
but
う
she
です
looks like she's nothing but skin and
いい
bones. Okay, let's record what we know so far then.
記
What?
憶
Are
は
you
読
not
まな
going
いん
to
です
read
か
the memories of the body?
ごめんなさい
Sorry, I can't touch people.
人には触れられないから
あ
Right, sorry. No need to
これは
apologize.
私が
It's
悪
due
い
to
の
my own shortcomings. Just the circumstances I find myself in have my hands shaking like leaves. So does it mean she cannot or she won't, like because of some personal trauma? And yeah, shouldn't it at least work on clothes? So yeah, maybe it's more like psychologically she doesn't want to read
チーム
people.
長
Even in
これ
such
だ
a
け
dire
切羽詰まった
situation, the
状況で
sergeant
も
can't touch the
人の
body.
体に触れること
This
ができな
doesn't
い
seem
のは
like a simple matter of reluctance.
何が
Did something happen to her? Investigate drawer. Maybe a secret trigger. Yeah.
生活に必要なものが
Surprising, it
意外
seems
と
as
揃っ
though
ているん
she's
です
been
ね
provided everything she needs.
それどころか
Actually,
僕たちが使っている
actually
も
she's
のより
better
質が
stocked
良
than
さ
we
そう
are in
だ
our office.
ほとん
Most
ど
of these are
高級
top
品じゃ
shelf
ないか
products.
だが使われた痕跡がほぼ残って
Yet
い
there's
る
very little trace
掃
left
除を
on
こまめにす
everything.
るタイプだ
Was the victim a stickler for cleanliness?
変ね
That's rather
記憶を
odd. I'm
読み取って
getting almost nothing from their
感じ取れ
memories
ることが
either.
ほとんどない
引き出
There's
し
a
の中
note
に
on
メ
one
モ
of
があ
the
りました
drawers.
これは
From the marks on the
何か
paper,
を
it
数
looks
える
like
時
she
に書
was
くマークみ
counting
たいですね
something. Maybe it's suicide? I'm gonna theorize that she was holding her breath this many days, like, or she was testing how long she has to hold her breath to die or something.
そうだな
Indeed, it
独房の
seems like
隅によく
something
書
you
かれてい
often
る
find
ものと
written on the
同じよ
walls
う
of
な
a
マークだ
solitary confinement cell.
独房を見ることが
Maybe
ない
it's
ので
because I
あ
haven't
まり
seen my
ピンと
fair
はきま
share
せ
of
んが
solitary confinement cells, but I can't think of an explanation for
お
this.
かしいわ
Again,
私
quite
は
odd.
過去1
I
ヶ
can
月の
read
記憶が
memories
読み取れるの
over
に
the span of an entire
この
month,
人
but
た
I
ちに
can't read any
開
sign
けら
of
れた
this
記憶が
drawer
残
being
されてい
opened.
ない
何か特別な娯楽があるわけでもないのに
I don't see a lot
1
of
ヶ
other
月も
ways
の
she
間
could
引き
keep
出しを
herself
開けなかったの
entertained,
で
so not to use this
普段は
drawer
何
for
を
a
して過ご
whole
していた
month.
んだろう
What did she do every day?
調べられる
Don't
物
they
資は
have like
全部調べたみたいね
surveillance cameras? Like, I know this is the 60s, so they weren't so like common back then, but surely in this top secret facility they might be useful. I think we've investigated everything we can.
死体がその
So
ままに
leaving
さ
the
れてい
body
る
like
のは
that
あそこから
because
動
you
か
have
す
no
方法
means
が
of
ないせい
moving
で
it,
すか
huh?
これぐらいは答え
Isn't
て
it
くれて
okay
も
for
い
you
いじ
to
ゃない
at
です
least
か
answer me that?
そうです
Alright, once your
捜査が終わった
investigation
ら
is complete,
周りの床ご
we're
と掘り
gonna
起こして
pull
運び
up
出
the
す予
whole
定です
floor and ship her off. Yeah, I was thinking about that. But I still wonder, like, what makes her so heavy? Because severance means she cannot be cut. But does it mean, like, if you lift her up, you're gonna, you know, like, it's gonna cause pressure on her flesh, and even that is protected. Like, if you poke somebody on the cheek goes the other way. So maybe her ability prevents even that. So that's why you cannot even. But I guess you could. I don't know. I'm still confused. Why? What is the force that keeps people from moving her?
やはり力
As
は
expected, the
スケ
underground
ールが
works on
違う
different scales.
体を移動させるだけ
Imagine
で
a
もこん
staffer
なに
that
苦労
requires
する
so
ステッ
much
パー
effort
か
just to move her body.
話によると
They
猛
said
毒も
that
効かないら
according
し
to
い
her
し
bureau file, poison doesn't affect her
一
either.
体被害者の死因
So
は
how on
何なん
earth
だ
was she killed?
施設に関する質
You
問な
said
ら
I could
答えら
ask
れるんで
whatever
すよ
about the
ね
facility, but do
それ
you
なら
think I could
被
get
害者
the
の管理
victim's
情報
bureau
を見せて
file?
ええこちらです
Sure, here you go.
ありがとうございます
So, mithril raj, severance protection, and range under 1 cm, catalyst none, and no notes at all.
2枚
Mm. Okay, here's more notes. 2 documents. I guess it's so small I don't want to read it there. We can see it better
す
later.
ごい
No
ス
way,
キル
they
につ
managed
い
to
て
write
かなり
about her
詳しく
skills
書
in
かれてい
so
ますね
much detail.
オッペン
Is
ハイ
this
マ
only
ーは
because she's
特
an
別という
Oppenheimer?
危険レベルとは
No,
関
it
係
has
ない
nothing to do with her threat
管
level.
理局は
The Bureau
全
has
ての
bureau
ステッ
file
パーの管理
addendums
情
on
報を
every
詳細
staffer.
に記録している
But like I said before, we can't
でも
access that
前にも
information since our clearance
私
is
た
so
ち
low.
は保安レベルが低いから
悔しいですね
That's upsetting. If we
この
had
レベルの
access
情
to
報
this
があれ
much
ば
information,
ほ
we
とん
could
どの
solve
事件
our
は
cases
すぐ
in
に
no
解
time.
決で
Are
きそうなの
they
に
really able to pick on
弱
us
小部署だ
just
から
because we are
こん
that
な差
low
別
on
されるなんて
totem pole?
違います
No.
私
From
の
what I
知る
know,
限
the
り
Manor Affairs
専任チ
division
ーム
was
の保安レ
demoted
ベルが
because
低
2
い
years
のは
ago,
2年
the
前
guy
被
died,
害者が施設に来
and
る
you
前の
weren't
記
able to
録は
find any records of
探
the
せないん
victim
ですか
from before her time here.
ええ私
That's
はこの
right,
施設
I
に
haven't
配
been
属され
here
た日
that
が
long
浅い
myself, so I
細
can't
かい
tell
こ
you
とま
the
では分
exact
かりませんが
circumstances, but we've
被
got
害者が施
absolutely
設
no
に来るより
information
前
about
の
what
情報は
Mithril
ない
did
ようです
before coming here.
おかしいですね
That's odd.
管理局なら
It shouldn't be
人
that
一
hard
人
for the
の身
Bureau
元を
to
調査
track
する
down
くらい
information
怪し
on
いでし
one
ょ
woman.
管理
Well,
情報
enough
はもう
about
いいわ
Bureau files. I'd like to know
週
your
刊誌たちに
inmates,
普段
how
どん
your
な生
inmates
活
spend
を送
most
っ
of
てい
their
るのか
time.
はいお
Alright,
話しします
let me fill you in.
それじゃあ
Would you
こち
mind
らの
leaning
壁に寄
back
りかか
against
って
the wall as you
お
do?
話わかりました
Alright, speech review.
週刊誌
Oh
は
yeah, I
こ
haven't
のよう
saved
なガラス張りの
in
空間で生
ages.
活します
All our
基本
inmates,
的に
oh,
週刊
damn
誌
it.
同士の接触は禁じられています
All our inmates live in glass cells, as you can see here. People in glass houses. As a rule, contact between inmates is strictly forbidden.
食事はすべて
We
週
serve the
刊誌の
inmates
希望の
whatever
メニューを
food they
配りますが
request, but they aren't
食
allowed
事
to
を拒否す
refuse
るのは禁
meals.
止です
Why aren't they allowed to refuse meals? Or like, I want, I don't know, chicken and rice, and it's like, no, I'm only gonna eat half of it. Like, no, you have to eat all. Also, eat all the bones.
そして禁止物
Besides
品
a
が
few
なければ
prohibited
週刊誌
items,
が
we
希望
supply
した
our
ものはすべ
inmates
て
with
与えます
anything they request.
また
In
10日に一
addition,
度くらい
inmates
は
are allowed to
ストレス
spend
管理
some
のた
free
めに
time in the
休憩
lounge
室で余暇
every
を過ごさせてい
10
ます
days to relieve them of any built up stress. Why only every 10 days? Like, shouldn't. Like, this room doesn't have really anything. Like, I'm a bit confused. Like, they can have whatever they want. So, like, okay, they couldn't have PlayStations and stuff because this is the 60s, but they could at least have a, TV or, and yeah, books. I don't know, porn magazines. I don't know, cross, altar for praying, Bible.
安全のために週刊誌たちのスキ
For
ル
the
使用は
safety
制
of
限され
everyone, inmates are not allowed to the free use of their skills.
すべての週刊誌
However,
は
we do
15
allow
日に
inmates
一
to
度
use
だ
the
け
skills
スキルが
once
使えます
every 15 days.
このルール通りに
With
生活してい
everyone
れば
abiding by these
健
rules,
康に
we
問
should
題は
have
起きない
seen
はずなんです
zero
が
health problems. But for some
なぜか
reason,
被
this
害者の
inmate
体重は
recently
最近
started
大きく
losing a
減
lot
少
of
してい
weight.
ました
But she is using her skill all the time,
ス
right?
キルは15日
So
に
they
一
are
度だ
allowed
け
to
使え
use
るん
their
ですね
skills once every 15
ええ
days.
この
That's
施設
right.
のあちこち
We
に
have mana
マナーを
detecting
感知する
staff
ステッ
set
プ
up
が
here
設置
and
されて
there.
います
When an
その
Oppenheimer
ため
uses his
オ
or
ッペ
her
ンハイマー
skill, a
がス
large
キルを
amount of
使って
mana is
大量の
released,
マナが
triggering
放
an
出されると
alarm.
警
That
報が
goes
鳴る
for
んです
all but the ones with their
ス
skills
キル
always
が常時
active.
発動しているこの被害者は例外でしたが
Okay, mana
スキル
alarm.
が使われた記録はここにあり
Sounds
ま
like a
す
band name or something. We have a record of who used their skills at what times right here.
もし15日以内に
What
スキ
would
ルを2
happen
回
if
使ったらどう
inmates
なるんで
were
し
to
ょう
use
か
their skills 2 times within a 15-day period? So what? Doug released large amount of mana, Burfin released large amount of mana, Elroy released large amount of mana, Rudger confirmed deceased. Hmm. The restraints they wear around their necks would inject a neurotoxin into their bodies, killing them. Okay, if they use their powers without permission.
残酷だが仕方ない
It's
だろう。
brutal, but there's
オッ
simply
ペン
no
ハイ
other
マーのス
choice.
キルは
You
使わ
have
れ
no
方次
idea
第
what
でどん
damage
な
an
被害をも
Oppenheimer's
たら
skill
す
is
かわからない
capable of.
本当にそうなら
If that's the
どう
case,
して
why
ス
not
キルの
ban the
使用
use of
を
skills
完全に禁
entirely?
止
よし。陳述ありが
Great,
とうご
thank
ざ
you
い
for
ま
your
す。
statement,
エム
Miss
さん。
M. Maybe the reason is that, they have to release their mana, otherwise it's gonna build up and bad things will happen or something.
リアクションはないん
No
だ。
施設の
response.
説明以
Is she
外は
just
話さな
refusing
い
to
というこ
respond
と
to
だ。
anything but questions about the facility?
では
Well
隣
then,
の
shall
休憩
we
室を調べま
investigate
しょう
this
か。
lounge next
い
door?
や、そこを調べるのは
I would
容疑
like
者
you to
全員と
investigate
会っ
that
てから
room
にし
after
よ
we meet with our
う。容疑者
suspects.
たちの
I
指
think
紋
it
と
would be
足跡を
more
調べてか
efficient
ら
if
の
we
方が
collected the
効率がい
suspects'
いからな。
fingerprints and footprints first.
そうね。
Right.
休憩室
Since all
は
of these
すべての
inmates use
週
that
刊誌が
room,
使
that
ってい
sounds
たそう
like
で
the
す。
right move.
他のオッペンハイマーに会うにはどこ
Where
に
do
行
we
けばい
have
いん
to
です
go
か。
meet your other Oppenheimers?
ここに案内図があります。
Here, a map of the
それ
facility.
じゃあ
Well then,
どこ
where
から
shall
行こ
we
うか。
head first? You won't be able to save during the next sequence. I don't know, Berryfin?
ここにいるオッペンハイマーはサイヤ・ベリフィンという女性で、この施設で最も危険な人物です。
I guess this next sequence does it just mean the location select screen, we cannot say. This cell belongs to a female Oppenheimer, Shia Berryfin, the most dangerous person in this facility. She looks a bit psycho,
あの人が
kind of woman. That woman,
ガラスの向こうで
it
何
looks
か
like
話
she's
している
whispering
のに
something
聞こえ
behind
な
that
い。
glass wall, but I
こ
can't
んな
make it out. Is it soundproof?
彼女は
That
ここ
woman
から
has
脱
already
走しよう
tried
と
to
した経
escape
歴
this
が6
facility
回もあ
6
ります。
different
で
times.
きれば近づかな
I
いこ
would
とをお
suggest
勧めし
keeping
ま
your
す。
distance as much
ベ
as
リフィンの
possible.
スキルにやられるか
You
もし
could
れま
fall
せん。
victim to her skill.
どんなスキルなんですか。
What skill is that?
これが管理情報です。
Here, her bureau file. Compulsory trust. Okay.
強制的信頼
Compulsory trust, then her skill allows her to manipulate a person's psyche.
そうですね。
I see. To put it in
簡単に言う
ever
と
simpler
あの
terms,
人が言うことを
she can make
絶対
people
に信じるように
unconditionally
なる
believe
スキルでしょ
anything
う
she
か。
says.
そのくらいなら
I don't
核
think
兵
that's
器レベル
dangerous
という
enough to
ほど
compare
危
her to
険
a
なスキ
nuclear
ルじゃなさ
bomb.
そうに思えるが。
Right, like, is it like, she says that, you have to jump off the roof of this tall building or the whole world explodes or something and you're gonna die anyways, or if she says like you have to jump down off this tall building, you won't die, but if you don't do it, everybody will die, and then you will just do it. Is that how it works?
かなり危険だね。
She's packing quite a dangerous weapon then.
どうかな
I would have to agree.
そうですか。
Really, I don't think it
僕はこ
merits
うやって
locking the
閉じ込め
woman
てお
up.
く。
ノート、まだマナ
No,
現象
you're
につ
still
い
not
て
too
よく
familiar
わか
with
ってないみたい
phenomena,
だ
are
ね
you? It's not big explosions
大き
and
な
things
爆発を
breaking
起
to
こした
bits that
り、
make someone
すごい
dangerous.
スキルの危険性は
Skills are all
そ
about
の
how you
使い
use
方
them.
次第。
So even though Pandy's
だから
skill doesn't cause
パンにのスキル
destruction,
も
she's still
破壊
rated
力
as
はないけど
SDN.
STN レベルなの。
チーム長、
You're an
STN レ
SDN
ベルだったんですか。
sergeant?
言ってなかったか
Yes,
し
did
ら。
I not tell you?
尋ねたことが
No,
あ
I
りませんで
guess
し
I
た
never
が、
asked.
思ったより高いレベル
That's
なん
higher
です
than I
ね。
imagined. But
で
you're
も
not
チーム長のスキル
able
は
to see
過
clearly
去
into
を
the
確
past,
実
are
に
you?
見ら
It's
れる
not
わけ
like
じ
you
ゃあり
can
ません
get
よ。
any visual information.
まあ、今はそうだけど。
Well, that may be true now, but back when she was able to touch bodies...
おい
Hey,
あ、
right, you
今の
never
は聞
heard
かなか
that.
ったことに。
Maybe it has something to do with their dead partner. What was his name? I don't remember anymore. Hey, thanks bot. Some girlie was talking about me on her TikTok. Very nice. People talking about me in TikTok. Doesn't sound fake at all. It's a chat message. Never heard that. I heard what?
本題に戻って
Back to business.
サイ
And
ヤベリフィ
speaking
ン
of
の
the
スキル
Shia
について
Berryfin
話す
skill,
と人の精神を操作でき
being
る
able
スキ
to
ル
manipulate
基
persons
本
might
的に
normally ranks a
STN 以上
staffer
のレ
at
ベルに分
SDN
類
or
される
higher. That's because they
他
could
のステッパ
manipulate
ーを
other
操り
staffers into using
ス
their
キ
own
ルを使う
skills.
可能性しかも
But
この
according
管
to
理
her
情
bureau
報
file, Berryfin is able to
ベリ
control
フ
a
ィンは
number of
一
people
度
at
に多
once.
数の人を
Plus,
操
it
るこ
looks
とが
like
でき
she has a nearly unlimited
射程
range.
決その上録音や記録を
On
通し
top
て
of that, if she were
スキ
able to
ルの効
record
果
her
が発揮
skill
さ
onto
れると
some
す
sort
る
of voice recording, she could
一度に
manipulate the
数百
minds of
人の
hundreds
精
of
神を
people at the
操作
same
すること
time.
が可能でしょうね
そうですか。
I see, I can
かな
understand
り
the
危険
danger
だとい
now.
う理由が
So
分かり
if
ま
you
し
were
た。
to jump into a
下
conversation
手
with
に
her,
言
she
葉を
could
交わしたら
manipulate us as well.
困った
That's
ね
us puts us
それじゃあ
between a rock and a
陳述を
hard
聞
place.
く
It's
の
gonna
が
be
大変
difficult
そ
to
う
get her
そ
statements.
れにあの
I
部
would
屋
also
のこ
like
と
to
も
get
調
in
べて
there and investigate her room,
ああやっ
but
て
that's
本
gonna
人
be
の
a
中に
chore
いる以
with
上
her in it.
難しいだろ
So how did they ever catch her to lock her up? I have a theory, like, you know, you could have if there's still a range, let's say it's like 1 kilometer or something, there's, wait, well, whatever, you know, what's the range of a sniper rifle? Like, you know, there's like several snipers trained on her, and then somebody says like, okay, yeah, now you give up or we will shoot you or something, and maybe she like, all right, I will.
それは問題ありません
That won't be a problem.
殺した
Did you kill her?
首の拘束具から
Just a
睡
little
眠剤を
something to
投
put
与した
her
だ
in
けです
sleep from her neck
彼女は他
restraints.
のス
We'll
ペース
move
に
her
移しておく
somewhere
ので
else. Just
調査が
tell
終
me
わった
when
ら
you're
お声
finished
掛けく
looking
ださい
around.
録音された
Since her
声での
skill
ス
can
キル
even
が
work
効
through
力を
recorded
発揮するな
version of her voice, I'd rather not use my
私の
skill
スキル
here.
は使わない方が良さそうね
Yeah, that makes sense. It's another plot hole. No, I'm sure, like, you know, you also have to remember there are many other staffers in this world, so there must be skills that. Well, let's see. Now that you asked the question, Berryfin, so composer trust unable to measure. Okay, then it's. But I guess you have to hear her voice. Catalyst sentences. Yeah, so you have to hear her voice. So if somebody is far enough, they can't hear her voice if she doesn't have like a megaphone or radio or something. Chia Berryfin uses a skill and a sentence she creates, her catalyst, and anyone who comes in contact with this sentence will believe it without a doubt. Once she used her skill to say she was royalty, the people who heard her voice believed wholeheartedly that she was actually royalty. Even those who heard a recording of the statement exhibited same symptoms as those who had heard it firsthand. Moreover, when Berryfin wrote the same sentence out as text, those able to read and understand the sentence also wholeheartedly believed her to be royalty. By using her skill in this way, she brought countless free market capitalists and celebrities under her control. Yeah, but like, does it mean that it has to have an inkling of common sense to it, or is it can you believe any kinds of absurd things, like, you know, if I don't scratch my nose every 3 seconds, the space jelly monster Glibhar is gonna devour my left foot or something. Like, if I genuinely believe it, I'm probably gonna be scratching my nose. Or is there, like, you know, maybe it's true though. What's true that that you can make her, like, everybody can believe, like, make her believe she can make others believe complete nonsense, or there's some limits, or what?
ブリアン
Brian, I'm leaving this
Hi.
to you. Indeed, I'll do what I can. Okay. Club room time. Investigate the wall.
窓に
There
何
are
かついて
smudges
る
on the
なん
glass.
かツル
Whatever
ツ
it
ル
is,
する
it's
け
sort
ど
of slick, maybe
ローション
lotion.
かな
Puts about the jellyfish alien behind you. Ah! Don't, no. I was afraid the alien jellyfish thingy would be. It wasn't jelly, it was jelly. Whatever. That is true, but now you confirmed it. So it puts the lotion in the basket.
どうして
Why
この
was it
周
only
辺にだ
smeared
け
here?
そんなものが塗られているんでしょうか。
いや
No, it wasn't smeared. The trace makes it look like it was scrubbed off.
消すって
So it was
汚
erased,
れみたいな
scrubbed
ものを
away
消
like a
したって
stain.
ことですか？
ほぼ乾いて
Seeing
い
as
るから
though it's
も
almost
う
dry,
何日
it's
か経っ
been
てるみ
here
た
a
いだ
few
けど
days. You think it might
事
be
件と
related
関
to
係
our
あるのか
case.
な？
Hatch.
被害者の部屋にこ
Well,
んなも
something
のあり
like
ま
this
した
in
っ
the
け？
victim's room too.
それは食事の
That's
受け
how
渡
we
し物
pass
で
her
す。
meals to her.
ベリフィンは他の収
Compared
監
to
者
our
と
other
違って
detainees,
接
making
近
any
自体
sort
が
of
危険な
contact with Berryfin is
配膳に
dangerous,
も
so we
注意して
even
いま
have
す。
to be careful at mealtimes.
ベリフィンの声が外に漏れ
So
ない
this
仕
was
組みになっている
installed so
んですね。
Berryfin's voice doesn't make it out of this room.
ここから食事以外のも
Could
のが
other
出入りした
items
可
be
能性は
passed
ない
through
でしょ
here
うか？
too?
それは
I
なさ
don't
そう
think
だ。
that's the case.
残っているのは
The only
食
trace
事
I
の
can
トレイが
detect
通
is
っ
that
た
the
痕跡
tray
だけだ。
used to serve food. Of a tray used
こ
to
の
serve
受け
food.
渡し
Then
口
I
は
don't see any possible
他の
way
目
it could
的
be
で使
used
わ
for
れた可能
anything
性はな
else.
さそうね。
Oh,
どうですか？
footprints. What do you
当
see?
然だが、
It's almost
残
too
されてい
obvious
る
to
のはベリフ
mention,
ィン
but
の
I can
足
only
跡
see
だけだ。
Berfin's footprints in here.
それに、
None
特に
of her
怪しい
movements
動
look
きのような
suspicious
無
either.
駄骨だったわね。
Wasted effort. Okay, at least she has a few books, but it's still like I still feel like there's a discrepancy. Like, of course, it's gonna be really boring to have to live in a cell like this, but they're supposed to be allowed to have luxuries, but she has few books.
この棚のものは
It
少
seems
し
that
前
the
まで
items
使わ
on
れ
the
ていたよ
shelf
う
were
だ。
used just a little
も
while
しか
ago.
してと思って
I
探
checked,
してみ
but
た
I
け
don't
ど、
see any signs of a
ペンみた
pen
いなの
around
おそ
here.
らく
That's
禁止物
probably
品
a
に指定されている
prohibited
んでしょう。
item for her. After
ベリ
all,
フィン
the
さんの
skill
スキル
can
は
be
記
transmitted
録を
through the
通してで
written
も
word
効果が
as
あるみ
well.
たいなので。
何度も脱走を
With
企
each
てたと
escape
いうだけ
attempt, the
ある。
restrictions probably grew
制限
tighter.
そうですね。
None of the
ここには
trace
特に
evidence
お
is
かしな
standing
痕
out
跡などは
out
ない
to
よう
me.
です。
特別怪しいところはなかったわね。
Nothing stands out as particularly suspect.
調べるもの自体
She
があ
doesn't
まりな
have
か
all
った
that
で
much
すしね。
stuff to begin
部
with.
屋に持ってこられ
I
るも
bet
のが
they
制
limit
限
the
され
amount
て
of
いるからで
personal
しょ。
effects you can bring in here.
むしろ
I think
給
that
湯
lounge
室を
will
調べ
have
たら
more for us
い
to
ろいろとわか
investigate.
りそうね。
ベルフィンさんが
I
ど
have
んな
no
人
idea
物
what
かわ
sort
か
of
らないの
person
で
Miss Berryfin is,
判
so
断
I
が困
really
ります
couldn't
ね。
tell you.
真
I
実を
wish
聞
we
け
could
たらいい
get
んで
a
すが。
statement from
危
her.
険よ。
That would be
ベリフィン
dangerous.
は
The
最後
last
に
time
ス
she
キルを
used her
使った。
skill was 16
重
days
力が
ago.
地形化してる
She's
から
allowed to use it now.
またスキルが使える状態でしょ。
Speaking
そう
of
いえば
which,
エム
Miss
さん、
M, when
ベリ
Miss
フィンさん
Berryfin
が
used her skill
16日前
16
に
days
スキルを
ago,
使った時
what
は
lies did she
誰
tell?
にどん
まだ分かっていま
We
せん。
haven't figured out that just yet.
それじ
Pardon?
ゃ危ないじゃないで
Is
すか。
that dangerous to have out there?
心配ありません。
No need to worry.
スキルが
All
使われた
surveillance
時の監
personnel
視を
working
担当
here
し
at
てい
the
た
time
人
she
員
used her skill
全
have
員
since
交
been
代しました。
replaced.
そこまでするのか。
They went that
そ
far.
れくらい危
I
険な
guess
スキル
that's
という
how
ことだろう。
dangerous her skill is. But maybe she told them to, I don't know, do some terrorism or something outside of the facility. Maybe she's gonna start her cult like that. Like every 15 days, she's gonna give some people some commandment, and once there's like, 100 of them, after a few years or something, then they're gonna, bust her out or something. I still think maybe she just told the truth. Maybe. Or maybe whatever she says becomes the truth.
とりあえず
Well
こ
then,
こを調べるのは
shall
こ
we
のくら
say
い
we're
にして
finished investigating this
他の
room?
場所
We
に
should
移動し
move
ま
on
し
to
ょう。
our next destination. Elroy. Elrond Hubbard.
ここにいるオッペンハイマー
This
は
cell
モ
belongs
ロ
to
エルロイ
male
という男性
Oppenheimer,
です。
Morlo Elroy. Yeah, he looks bit.
なんだか自由奔放
He
そうな
looks
人がい
very
ますね。
Pride Month appropriate. Let's put it that way. There's something that strikes me as a free-spirited about that guy.
処置にいそうなイ
His
メー
look
ジだ
makes me
な。
think I'd see him hanging around a summer resort.
人の女を奪うのが
His
うま
looks
そうなイ
makes
メ
me
ー
think
ジ。
he'd steal your girl away. I was thinking the opposite.
テナさんの抱く
That's
第
quite
一
a
印
rude
象
first
は失
impression
礼
to
な。
have.
なあた
You think he'll say
何
that
を
after
奪わ
he
れても
steals
そんな
Pandy
こと
away
言っ
from
て
you
られる
notes?
かな。
も いきなり
What are
何の
you
話
even
です
talking
か
about?
それじゃあ
Shall we
と
introduce
りあえず
ourselves?
挨拶してみましょうか。
待ってください。
Hold up.
僕が先
I'd
に
like
し
to
ます。
speak to him first.
そ
But
う
of
だよ
course,
ね
my dear
そ
soul.
うしますよね。
どうして急に敬語なんだ。
Why suddenly calling me sir out of nowhere?
よ
Hello.
ブラザ
Yo,
久しぶ
bro.
りだな。
Long time no see, muchacho.
はい
Huh? Are
僕
you
のこ
talking
と
to
です
me?
か。
当たり前じゃないか。
Of course I am. Well, hell then. Once more,
な
I'm at your beck and call.
なんだか親
The
戚
way
のお
this
じ
man
さんみた
speaks
いな
gives me
話し方
weird
だ
old
な。
guy vibes.
かなり親しげに
He sure is treating Note here with an air of affection.
嘘でしょ。
That's no good. Is Note even capable of returning the sentiment? Note, do you know this man?
いえ
No.
初対
This
面
is
で
the
す
first
が
time we are
で
meeting.
しょうね。
Makes sense.
オッペン
It
ハイマ
wouldn't
ー
be
と
easy to
外
meet
で
an
会うなんて
Oppenheimer
考
out
え
in
に
the
くいか
streets.
ら。
Indeed.
それじゃあ人違
Are
い
you sure you have the right person?
いや
Yeah, I'm
俺
sure.
は確かに知ってるぞ
Detective, not your case, right?
Robotic
I guess his
case
power is
だろ
knowing people's names or identities or reading their minds, something like that.
多分エロロイは
Perhaps
別の
is
ケー
that
ス捜査
Elroy
官に会
here
ったことがあ
with
る
a
んでしょう
different
ね。
detective case?
どういう意味ですか。
What do you even mean by that? Retrograde memory transmission.
管
What?
理情報
This bureau file,
Ato wa
does he
jibun de
does
shiraberu
he
to iu
want
koto
me
ka.
to figure out the rest of my own?
回帰性記憶転送
Retrograde memory transmission.
名
From
称
the
だけ見
name
ても
alone,
ど
I
んな
can't
スキル
tell
な
what
の
sort
か
of
全
skill
くわ
that
かりま
might
せんね。
be. Elroy's skill senses memories to the past, however, we've been unable to observe the moment in which he does this. Interesting. Do you think the taxi driver from the intro will come back up? It's possible, yeah. Maybe he will. Didn't I say he's probably the bad guy of the game or something? So maybe he's gonna be in the last case.
俺が簡単に説明してやるよ
Let me explain it to you in layman's terms. It's time travel.
時間旅行
Time travel, like with a time machine.
そうだ
Right.
ある
I
時
can
点から
travel into
過
the
去の時間
past.
帯に戻ること
He's gonna take you back to the
俺の
past
スキ
to
ル
play
は
the shitty games
大
with
体そんな
Sagas.
感じだよ
That's basically what my skill entails. However, the only thing able to be sent back is my memories, not
記
my
憶だけ
body.
なんだ
I guess you'd say
俺が
that's
タイ
a
ムマシン
difference
と
between me
俺
and
の
time
スキル
machine.
との違
Okay,
いって
somebody's
ところかな
watched the Steins Gate. It's definitely, they've seen the Steins Gate.
記憶を過
So
去の
you're
自
able
分
to
に転
transmit
送
the
する
memories of your present
それ
self
で
into
回
the
帰性記
past.
憶転送と言うん
That's
で
where
す
the
ね。
retrograde part of the memory transmission comes in.
いやいや。
No, no, that can't be a skill that transcends time itself. Is such a thing even possible? Didn't we just have that in the last case?
少なくとも
Up
今まで
until
は
this very moment, I've never heard of such a thing. Wait, what are they talking about? The shed has like, okay, it's more limited time travel abilities, but it's still sort of like time travel abilities.
でもそれが
However,
可能
such
だから
things can be possible for an Oppenheimer.
うんなるほど。
Right, I get it now.
エル
I
ロイさ
know
ん
how you know me,
あなたが
Mr.
どうして
Elroy.
僕のことを知っていたのか、あなたが僕を知
The
った
moment you
瞬間
came
は
to
きっ
know my
と
name is right
この時
here.
でしょう。
Alright, Oppenheimer raided Staffer says he met Nodrick before, yet Nodrick has no memory of me in this mail. When did Elroy come to know it? Well, at this moment when we met, and his future self sent the memory back. Is this like a trick question? Verifin. Okay, Elroy sends his memories to past, however we've been unable to observe the moment which he does this. The only thing outsiders are able to observe at the moment when he receives those memories, and the mana is also released the moment he receives the future memories. As much has yet to be discovered about time itself, it's unclear whether he sends a snapshot of his memories to the past or if everything besides his physical body is transported into the past. Elroy claims that the maximum time he's able to go back is 10 days, but in truth that is still an unknown. Elroy claims that though his use of his skill, he has lived roughly 20 years longer than his physical form. Once, when we sent his memory back 10 minutes, he had to wait 10 minutes before he was able to use his skill again. Arrange and the kettle list. Okay, there's no. No, it's probably one of these. Oh, okay.
エルロイさん、
Mr. Elroy, according to this record, you released a large amount of mana on the 10th of this month. Ah, okay, yeah. I forgot we had this thing. And now it's the 24th. Oh, yeah, that's right.
また
According to your bureau file, whenever you receive memories from the future, that's when you exude such large amounts of mana.
つまりこの
In
時
other
に
words,
あ
on
なた
that
は未来
day,
の記
you
憶を
received
受け取った
memories
んで
from the
す。
future.
本題に戻ります。
Which brings me back to
あ
my
なたは
point
どう
in
して
all of
僕の
this.
ことを知っていた
The
のか。
way you know my name.
簡単です。
It's simple.
あ
You
な
have
たには
memory of
僕に会
meeting
っ
me
た
before.
でもノート
But no,
さっき
didn't
こ
you
の人
say
と
you
は
never
初
met
対
this
面だ
guy?
つまり
Perhaps it isn't about them having met in the past. In all memories Elroy required from the future, there must have been a memory of meeting Note. That must be it.
その通り。
That's exactly
やは
right.
り
You
俺
don't
をがっか
disappoint,
りさせないで
bro.
くれるんだな、ブラザー。
ブラザーって。
What's he got us to call bro? And what exactly did I do in the future?
そもそも10日に受け
I'm
取っ
not
た
sure
時
if
点で
future is the appropriate term when we're talking about memories he acquired 10 days in the past.
混乱するから
This is all really confusing, so let's call Elroy's experiences the previous timeline.
エルロイさん。
Mr. Elroy, how exactly did we meet in the previous timeline?
もちろん
It's rather obvious. We met when you came in to investigate Rutger woman's death.
今のお話につい
Speaking
て
of which,
詳しく
would you
陳
mind
述してい
making
た
an
だけます
official
か
statement about her?
お
Oh,
もちろん
of
だ
course,
友よ
good buddy.
それじゃあ
Well then,
手を壁
please
に
rest
ついて
your hand on the wall
話し
and
てくだ
begin.
さい
別の時間軸で
This
今
this
日起き
skill
たの
would
と
be
同
quite
じ事件
nice, you
だ
know, for making money and stuff like, you know, lottery crap like that, or just stock market betting and whatever. The incident you're talking about played out exactly the same way in the previous timeline.
すごく
I
驚
was
いた
shocked. I saw that
事件の
woman
前
the day
日にも
before
彼女を
everything
見た
went
けど
down, and she looked
か
so
なり元
healthy.
気そうだったから別の時間
Just
軸でも
like in this
同
timeline,
じよ
you
う
all
に君た
came
ちが
and
来
did
て
your
事件を
investigation.
操作していたそして未来の君た
Future
ち
you
は
solved the case
事件
without
を
a
手
hitch.
際よく解決して俺に事件の
Then you
真相を
told me
教えて
everything
くれ
that
たんだ
happened. So is he gonna tell us?
その後俺はスキルを
That's
使っ
when I
て
used my skill.
12月
And I
10日に
returned
戻
to
ってきたん
December
だ
10th.
ん
He sounded
今
like he
話
was
せるの
lying
は
before he
大
even
体
said a
このくらい
word.
だな
Yeah. I think that pretty much covers it.
とりあえず
First
嘘は
off, we
つ
can
いて
say
な
he
さそうだ
probably
けど
wasn't lying. Well,
別
yeah.
の時間軸での僕は
I caught the
犯
criminal
人
in
を
the
捕まえたん
future
ですか
timeline.
ああ
You did, and I
かなり
must
見事な
say, your
推理だった
reasoning was quite impressive.
それで俺は君の
How
ことを
else could I
ブラ
call
ザー
you
と
my
認めたんじゃない
brothers?
それじゃあ
Do you know how the victim died?
もちろんだ
Of course.
教えてください
Then please
そ
tell us.
れはダメだ
I can't.
なに
What?
実
Is
は
that
何も
because
知
he
らない
really
んじゃ
knows
ない
nothing at
の
all?
確かに
The fact that he knows who the culprit is and says nothing is definitely suspicious behavior. No, it's like, you know, have to protect the timeline, you know, paradoxes and all that stuff. Like, you know, you don't want to turn this into a paradox, you know, like a grand strategy game. We're playing a visual novel investigation game, so don't turn this into Europa Universalis or something.
待て待て
Hold your
犯人を
horses.
教えられない
I've
のに
got
は理
reasons
由
why I
があるん
can't
だ
tell you who did it.
理由ですか
Reasons?
一つ目の理由は
The first reason is that any interference on my part might alter the future.
あり得る話ね
It's not a question of might, plus we have to prove our findings to the cabinet secretary to show him our value. And we have no idea what might happen if we try to cheat.
そして二つ目の理由
And
は
the second reason, bro, is because you need to fully grasp what's happening with this case.
それはど
What
ういう
on
意味
earth
ですか
is that supposed to mean?
それも答えら
I
れない
can't answer that. I might
ヒントになって
accidentally
し
give
まう
you a
かも
hint.
しれないからなさあ俺の話はここまでだ
Alright, that's all I got to say about that. Head off to some other place. Shoot. Can you, like, if you're a Oppenheimer inmate here, can you get prostitutes or something? Like,
最後に一つだけお聞きします
I have one more question for you.
エルロイさん
Mr. Elroy,
あ
you
なた
knew
は
this was
この
gonna
事件
happen,
が起
right?
きることを知っ
Why
て
not
い
put
たん
a
ですよ
stop to it before it began?
それは
About that,
君が
if you catch
別
up
の時間軸の
to
君
the
に追
you
いつい
in
た
the
ら
other timeline, I'll
教
tell
え
you
て
then.
あげるよ
ひとまず
Well, it
今
seems
こ
as
こで得
though
られ
I've
る情報
found
は
out
これ
all
で
I
全部
can.
か
I actually sort of like the guy. He looks a bit,
時間旅行者
I don't know,
モロエル
molesty,
何を考えているの
but
かわから
he
ない
seems like an okay guy. He doesn't feel like the killer either or anything like that, but of course things can change. As for a time traveler Morlock Elroy, I have no idea what to think. Is it like from Morlock, from the time machine? Logical. What was so logical about that? Doug the Diddler, Dooms. He likes drawing. Is he a kid?
ここにいるオッペンハイ
The
マー
cell
は
belongs to the Oppenheimer Douglas
Touchstone
Touchstone, a
男
male.
です
Okay, Douglas Touchstone. I like the name.
彼と話すときは言葉に気をつけてください
It sounds like a character name one of my friends would name their character in a tabletop RPG. When you talk to him, be careful what you say.
言葉に気
Be
をつけろ
careful? Is he super sensitive or
すごく
something?
一目見ただ
Just
け
from
で
the look of him,
その理
I
由
can
が
guess
分かったわ
why.
ね
Yeah, he looks psycho kid.
なんてことだ
You've got to be kidding me.
子供
A boy? Wow, wow.
探偵さ
Investigators? Huh?
んお兄ちゃんもし
Sir,
かして
are
探
you a
偵さん
private investigator?
あいや
I mean,
まあ
I
少し
did
前ま
work
で
at
は
the
探偵
office
事
of a
務所で
private
働いてはい
investigator
ました
before. Wow, wow.
このまま爆発
You
とか
think he
しま
might
せんよ
explode
ね
if I keep going?
そうなる前に
You should
な
do
んとか
something
しな
before
さい
that happens.
幼い子供とは
I've
まと
never
もに
even
話
had
した
a
ことがないんだけ
conversation
ど
with someone so young. I wonder how did they convince, in quotation mark, her parents to let him live in this facility? Like, did they just kidnap him, or did they like bribe them? Like, here's $6 million, and now don't ask questions about what we're going to do to your kid, or is he an orphan, or what? Do the parents get to meet him if he's not? I've never even had a conversation with someone so young.
その
Do you
探
like
偵が好きなんですね
investigators? Oh my god, how'd you know? You're really an investigator. I bet you could figure out everything there is to know about the person with a single handshake.
あいや握手はし
I
てま
mean,
せ
it's
んけ
not
ど
like I've shaken your hand.
鋭い指摘
A fine point, as expected from a star investigator.
どう見ても普通の子供だ
Seems like an ordinary
どうして
kid.
こ
Why
んな
keep
子
a
供
kid
ま
like
で
this? Causal object formation.
なるほど
I see.
ダグラス・タッチストーン通称ダグスキルは因果性物体
So
生成
Douglas Doug Touchstone skill causal object formation. So is it sort of like the clown chick but much more powerful? Douglas Touchstone, nicknamed Doug, carries a skill that isn't quite clear because of its peculiar nature. What's certain is that his skill creates an object, then alters its memory. Alters memories to make those around it believe the object existed there before. Sounds interesting. First object Doug created was a birthday cake. The cake is not a lie. Doug's parents firmly believed it was, so okay, he had parents, or yeah, maybe they just killed the parents. So family believed it was who bought the cake, and Doug, the user of the skill, believed the same. However, there were Those memories were altered by the skill, and the bakery the parents thought they went to was actually closed that day due to the baker's personal affairs. Through further observation, it will be necessary to clarify the limitations of the objects he can create to the extent of the manipulation happening. So yeah, can he create like any? Does it have to be like a simple object? Can he create like a, I don't know, a computer? Like, does he have to understand the mechanics, how they work? Can he make a bomb?
欲しい物体を作り出すスキルね。
He can make anything he
欲
desires.
しいも
He
の
can
を
make
何でも
anything.
危険ですね。
Dangerous
幼
indeed.
心にも
If
し強
someone
力
so
な武器の
immature
ような
were
も
to
のを
fashion
作り
some
出し
sort
て
of
しまったら
weapon.
ええ。だけどこのス
Yes,
キ
but
ル
the
の
scariest
最も
part of
恐ろ
this
しい
skill is that every item he creates has a direct effect on those around
因
him.
果関係
In fact,
だが前に
once when
skill でケーキを
Doug
作
made
り出した
himself a
時
cake, no one around
突然
him thought
ケー
that
キ
the
が現れ
case,
た
a
にもかかわ
cake
らず
appearing out of nowhere
誰
was
も
the
違和
slightest
感を
bit
持た
odd.
みんな最初からそこ
They
に
all
ケ
thought
ー
the
キがあっ
cake
た
had
と思
always
った
been
んです
there. They believed it was a cake
ダ
his
グの両
parents
親が買って
his
きたもの
parents
だ
had
と
bought
信じ
for
て
him.
い
Yeah,
る
we just read that. It was
その
only
日
after they
ケーキを
realized that
休
the
みに行
cakery
ったことが
was
分かっ
closed, they figured out
それが
Doug
スキル
had
で作ら
created
れた
it
ケー
using
キ
his
だった
skill.
奥まで操
Then
れ
his
るんです
skill reworks memory.
スキルで作
In
り出し
that
た
way, the
物体
objects
が
he
こ
creates
の世
meld
界に自
seamlessly
然と
with
溶け
his
込むよう
this world.
あんな可愛い子
To
が
think a
そこ
kid
まで
that
怖
cute
い
could have a
スキルを
skill
持って
so
るなんて
utterly terrifying.
チーム長この施
This
設に
sounds
は
like a game,
あんな
like would
幼
be
い
a
子まで
fun
いるんです
game
ね
if you are the protagonist, you have that power and you can just mess things up. Sergeant, they keep children here.
ええ
Indeed, what a
はい
luck.
はい
What?
普通
Usually
ス
a
キルはス
staffer
テッパ
skill
ーが9
manifests
歳の時に
itself
現れるの
at the age of 9. The
幼い
younger
頃
the
で
child, though, the more
自分
difficult
の
it
ス
is
キル
for
をコ
them
ン
to
トロー
control
ル
their
することが
skill.
難
There
し
are
い
even times when they
だ
activate
か
the
ら自
skill
分の息子
unknowingly.
んなに危険なス
If a
キルを持
child
って
is
も
young carrying this
ス
dangerous
キルの危
of a
険性を
skill
認識
unaware
し
of
ないま
said
ま
skill,
外で暮
mind
らして
you,
いた
will
ら
ever let loose upon the
どん
world,
なことが起きた
I
か
don't even want to
想
imagine
像
what
する
might
のが
happen.
嫌だわ
そうですね
I guess you're
で
right,
も
but I really can't
僕には
fathom it.
ノート赤ちゃんが核弾頭を抱いて生
No,
まれ
this
て
is
く
a
る
world
世
where
界
babies come out of the womb wielding nuclear missiles. I like the image, mental image of that.
実感が湧かなくて
It's
正
better
解
if you
よ
don't fathom such
ただ
implications.
理解す
It's
るだ
enough
けで
that you
十分だ
simply understand that they are possible.
でも
Still, do you
こんな
think this
幼い
kid
子が
was
事件に
involved in
関
our
与している
case?
関与していないこ
I
とを
sure
祈る
hope
しか
he
ないわ
wasn't. I happen to like children.
私も
ねえ探偵さ
But
んたち
what are
は
you
どうして
investigators
こ
like
こに
you're
いる
doing
の
here?
事件
Are you here on a
殺人事件
case? Was there a murder?
ええ
Yes,
大体
certainly
そんな
seems
と
that
ころよ
that way.
僕
Wow!
が手
Tell
伝
me
え
if
ること
there's
があったら
anything I can do to
何で
help.
も言ってね
I read all
僕
those books
た
over
くさん
there, so
本を
I'm
読
real
むから
smart. Miss
頭い
Murray
いんだ
said
よ
so herself.
それじゃあちょっと
Would
手
you
伝っ
like to
ても
help
らお
us
うかな
now?
あ
If you
なた
could
の周
recount
り
the
で最近
events
や
of
っ
the
たことを
past
教
few
えてくれ
days,
たら
that would be a really
すご
good
くいい
start.
やった
Sure, yeah.
それじゃあダグ
Then, Doug, could
この
you
壁
touch
に
this
寄り
wall
かかっ
and
て
tell the
お
nice
姉さん
woman
に話してくれ
everything?
るかな 僕がここに
I
来て
came
か
here
ら
about a
1
month
ヶ月く
ago.
らい経つんだけど今までずっと
Oh,
おと
only
な
a
しく
month?
してたよ
I haven't gotten into any trouble and everyone's real nice.
ここに来てからスキ
I
ルを
haven't
使
even
ったこ
used
と
my
も
skill
ないし
once. Yeah, I was thinking that's a lie. I haven't had any long talks with anyone either, that's probably a lie. Yep.
偉いでしょ
I've been good, huh?
あ探偵に
To
質問
think I
され
get to
る
give
な
a
んて
witness statement to a bunch of inspectors.
なんだか
It
小
feels
説
like
の
I'm a
登場
character
人
in a
物に
novel
な
or
ったみたい
something.
で嬉しい
How
な
exciting.
いつか事件の
I
容疑者
always
になって
wanted
み
to
た
be
か
a
ったんだ
suspect in a case. So, yeah, I guess he might kill somebody to get into this position.
あそれと
And
それ
also,
そのくらい
that
話し
should
て
be
もらえ
enough.
監視官
God, have you by any
あの子に被害者
chance
の
told the
死に
lad
ついて
about the death of the
ええ
victim?
話しています
No, we haven't. He's at
ま
an
だ
age
感情
where
を
he's
コン
not
トロー
great
ル
at
するのは
controlling
難し
his
い年
emotions,
で
so
すから
figured it'd be better if he
知らせ
didn't
もひ
know.
とまず記録はし
Well,
た
I
よ
made a record of his statement.
子供は手強いな
Nothing's easy with kids. His
話が
statement's
途
a
中
mess.
このくらいならいい方だ
I
な
think it's enough though. We can at least get a sense of what's going on.
理解できたからといって
Even if we can
そ
get
れ
a
が
sense
真
of
実という
things
保
we
証はな
have,
いけど
no guarantee any of it was true.
幼い子供は何
Kids
かと嘘を
especially
つくから
are known for telling fibs. I'd sooner trust a
政治家と
politician
同
than a
くらい
child I
信じ
just
ては
met.
ダメな生き物よ。
Well, I wouldn't go that far. Like, okay, kids do, especially like my son. He likes to say ei, which means no in Finnish, like a lot. Like you ask him, do you want water? And he says, ei, but then you give him water and then he drinks it very happily. So yeah, kids do say things, but still, I'd still rather trust a child than a
チーム長
politician.
子供が好きって言ってませ
Sergeant,
んでした
didn't you
か
just say you like
大
kids?
人よりは
I
好きよ
like them better than I do
見えす
adults.
いた嘘
Their
を
lies
つく
are
から
easier to see through.
間違ってはいな
I
いかも
guess
しれない
that's
が
true. She may not be wrong.
さっきのダグの陳述には
In the statement
嘘
Doug
が
just
2つ
made,
も
I
混ざ
can
ってい
see
たし
two lies. At least two lies. Yeah, two obvious lies. Murder, investigate person's basis. I guess we have to highlight both lies. Is it like this? No. Okay, haven't used my skill once. Would be
Doug,
cool if an object from a
嘘をつきましたね。
previous chapter turns out to be a false
スキルを
memory.
使った
That
こと
would
が
be
ないというのは
freaking
嘘
cool.
ですよね。
Yeah, like can he create staff? Maybe all of the staff items in existence have been created by him. That would be a nice twist. Doug, you lied to us saying you didn't use a skill. That was a lie, wasn't it?
違うよ
No.
そうやって嘘を
If you
つい
keep
たら
lying to us. I already said I wasn't
さ
lying.
あ
Oops,
泣き
I
そう
think
だ
I'm about to make the kid
大
cry.
丈夫だ
It's alright, don't cry, little
さ
one.
あ飴
You're
を
a
あげよ
piece of candy. Well, nom nom nom.
うノート子
But
供
I
に
think a
対して
heavy-handed
高圧的な
interrogation
追
of a
求を
child
す
will
るのは
only
逆
turn
効
out
果
to
に
be
なる
counterproductive. Yeah.
異常心拍以外
Do you
で
have
真
anything
実が
else
嘘だと
besides the
証明できる資
abnormal
料はない
heartbeat that can prove that he was lying during his statements?
ブリアン
Yeah.
さんの言う通
As
り
Detective
こ
Brian
の
says,
陳
it's
述
gonna
に
be
限
hard
って
to get
は
an
異
answer
常
out of
心拍
him
で
using
答え
the
を引き出すの
abnormal
は難
heartbeat
しそうで
alone.
仕方ない
I got no other
真実
choice.
書
I'm
と
gonna
他
have
の
to
資料を
connect
照
some
ら
other
し合わせて
information that Doug
ダグの
statements to
嘘を
figure
見
out
つ
his
けよ
lies. Well, shouldn't be the mana release chart thingy, like. So Doug released large amount of mana. Not enough mana. Here.
Doug,
Doug,
ここに
this is a record
この
of
施設
when
の
the
オッペンハイマーた
Oppenheimers
ち
in
が
this
スキルを使
facility
った
used
記
their
録があり
skills.
ます あなたはさっ
You
き
said you
ス
didn't
キルを
use your
使った
skill
ことは
here,
ないと言っ
but
たけ
there's a
ど
record of you
ここ
using
に
it.
は嘘をつきまし
You
たね
lied to us, huh? Pout? I'm sorry. I'm a bad boy. I'm the worst boy in the whole world.
そんな
I wouldn't go that
全く
far.
嘘をつ
There's
かな
no
い人
one
な
in
んて
this
いま
world
せん
who's never told a lie.
嘘をついたからじゃなく
It's
て
not because of the lie, it's because I used my skill.
僕
I went and used it again, so I have to keep living here.
だからここに
Because
住
I'm
ん
a
でるんだ
bad boy.
こうやって
They're teaching
幼
them
い
from
頃か
this
ら
young
スキルを
age
使う
that
ことは
using
罪だ
skills
と
is
教
some
育
sort of
するん
sin.
だこれが
That way, the
管
Bureau
理
is
局
able
が
to
ステッパ
maintain
ーを統
control
制
of
す
the
る方法
staffers.
あなたのスキルは
We heard that your
欲しい
skill
ものを
allows
作
you
り
to
出すもの
create
です
whatever you want. So what did
今
you
回
make
作り出
this
したも
time?
のは何なの
わからないんだ
I don't know.
スキルを使うと
Whenever I use my
僕は
skill,
それ
it's
が
like the
元
thing's
々あったもの
been
だと
there
思い込むんだって
there forever.
だか
So
ら
even I don't know what I made. Yeah, so you know, maybe he created all the staff items, you know, like 3 weeks ago. Like maybe they didn't exist before or something, and everybody believes that they existed.
自分の記憶
Even
さ
the
えも
maker
操作す
doesn't
るな
know
ん
what
て
he's crafted. That's not
ダ
good.
グ本人がわ
Doug
からな
can't
くて
tell what he made,
こ
but
こ
the
を
person
監視
who
している
observes
人
him
なら
must have
何
figured
か
it
知っ
out.
ていると思う
Let's ask around
と
later.
ころでダグ
But
他
Doug,
にも
don't
僕
you
た
have
ちに
any,
話したい
something
こ
else
とは
you'd
あり
like
ませ
to
ん
tell
か
us?
大人を騙そうとし
You
ては
can
ダメで
fool
す
adults. There was one more line in
あ
your
なたの
statement
話
you
に
made,
は
wasn't there, Doug?
嘘がもう一つありましたよね
I I haven't had long talks with anyone either, so he had a long talk with somebody.
Tena-san,
Detective Stena, about the abnormal heartbeat here. It shows a contradiction, right? Seriously, I just can't keep up with how fast you are. Let me point something out a few times. How does, like, it's very obvious to point out this
やっぱり矛盾して
heartbeat
いたんです
lies.
ね。
Am I really
確認あり
that
がとうござい
fast?
ます。
Well, thank you for confirming my suspicion.
この陳述には
There's no other
異
reason
常
for
心
this
拍が
abnormal
発生す
heartbeat.
る
This
理
one's
由
a
が
lie.
ダグ。他の
Like
人
you
と
were
勝
lying
手に
about
話
not
したこと
getting
は
to
ないっ
know
て言っ
people
たの
here,
は
weren't you? You know about that?
それは
Yes, because we're investigators.
そっか
Of course.
見ただけで
You can see what sort of relationship two people have just from the looks on their faces.
ええそんなと
Sure,
ころ
we'll go with that.
あの子が思う探
Sounds like
偵
he
って
thinks investigators have some sort of supernatural power. Well, these ones do.
実際僕たちは
Considering
探偵
that
よ
we
りも
work,
超能力者に近いし
that the work we do is closer to psychic work than inspecting work, he's not wrong.
実はここに住んで
To
い
tell
る
the
人の
truth,
中
out
で
of all the people
一
here,
人だけ
there
知っ
isn't
てる人
one.
がいるんだ
There is one I've gotten to
それ
know.
は誰ですか？
Is it Marty? Who's that?
ミスリルお姉ちゃ
Miss
ん
Mithril. Ah. I'm just wondering, did Mithril somehow use him, like, I'm still going with the suicide theory, that she wanted to kill herself and she, you know, manipulated him to create something that would allow her to kill herself. That would be Mithril Rodger as
他
victim.
の人たちと違
Unlike
っ
the
て
other people, I
休
get
憩
to
室
see
に遊
Mithril
び
when
に
I
行く
go
と
to the
会える
lounge.
ガラスの壁に
Since
遮られ
there's
て
no
い
glass
て
between us,
声
I
は
don't
聞
know.
こえないけ
I
ど
don't know her. Since there's glass between us, I don't know her
こうやって
voice.
ガラスに息を
But
吐
when
い
we
て
write
文字
letters
を
on
書
the
いて
glass and breathe
話した
on
こ
there
とがあ
like
るよ
this, we can send messages to each other.
それがバレて
When I got
マリオ
caught,
姉ちゃ
Miss
んに
Murray
怒
sure
られ
did
た
get
けど
angry though.
被害いや
What do you usually talk with the I mean Mithril
本
about?
の話をたくさんし
Mostly
たよ
about books. I told her about the awesome mystery novel I just read too.
推理小説
Mystery
鏡
novel?
屋敷の悲
It's
劇
called
っ
The
て本
Tragedy
な
at
ん
the
だ
House of Mirrors.
すっ
It's
ご
so
く面
cool.
白いよ
It's in the lounge.
休
You
憩室
should
に
read
あ
it
るから
too.
今度読んでみます
Right,
ね
I'll check it out if I have
僕も
spare
推理
minutes.
小説は好きな
I
の
do
で
enjoy a good mystery
ある
novel.
女の人が
It's about a young woman who becomes the target of a serial killer. So there's a man who once fell in love with her, makes a plan to protect her. Sounds like an
その人を
appropriate
助ける
children's
ため
book.
の計画を立てるんだでも
However, the plan actually ends up getting her killed, so it ends up with the man killing himself.
男の人が自殺して終わるんだ
Why does the
どう
kid
して
have
子
to
供
go
は
and
平
spoil
気
the
でネ
ending
タバ
like
レを
it's
するんで
nothing?
しょうか？
推理小説
When you
と
put
実
together
際
the
の
kids
子供
and
の
mystery
組み合わ
novels,
せ
you're setting yourself up for nothing less than an explosion.
それじゃあ
Well then,
最後にミスリル
when
さ
was
ん
the
と会っ
last
た
time
の
you saw
は
Mithril?
いつですか？
最後の休み時
My
間
last time in the lounge was
この前の
last week,
週末だったから
so that'd be 6 days ago.
その時
At that time,
何かおか
did
しなこと
you
はありま
notice
せんでしたか？
anything strange?
おかしなこと
Anything strange?
なかったよ
Nope.
そうですか。
I see.
おかしいってほど
I
じゃな
wouldn't
いけ
call
ど
it strange, but Miss Mithril was looking a bit pale. She looked like a little skinnier too.
あ、そういえばお姉ちゃんは
That reminds me, she said she normally doesn't feel well once a month, so she takes medicine to help with the pain. So she had periods still. As in, how does the kid know he has ever used his own power? Yeah. Because he said he doesn't. Maybe he really doesn't know it. Except, like, you know, in the cake thing, when his parents figured out he created the cake.
1ヶ月に1回
Pain meds once a month. Was she suffering from some sort of illness? But if she's immune to poisons, why do pain meds work? Because isn't that basically some other form of
だけ
poison?
ど
多分
But the,
生理でしょうね
oops. The guard didn't say. Probably just her period. Yeah, that's what I said.
あ
でも
However, about her taking pain medication.
鎮痛剤を飲んでたってことはとりあえず
Shall we stop
この子
there
に
with
質
our
問すれば
questions for the kid? We
ここま
got
で
our
に
other
しましょう
places to
か
check out.
そうですね
Right.
もう
You're
行っちゃう
going
の
already?
そうか
Of
探
course you
偵だか
are.
らみんな
Since you're
忙しいんだ
investigators, I
ね
bet you're really busy.
会えて嬉しかったよ
Nice to meet you all.
僕ね、
I love mystery novels, so it's always been a dream of mine to be wrapped up in a case like this.
巻き込まれる
You want to be
事
involved,
件を
not
解
solving
決
the
するんじゃな
case.
く
This one.
僕が解
A
決なん
person
て
like
無
me
理だ
could never
よ。
solve a case. I
僕
could
は
never
探
be an
偵にはな
investigator
れない
because
もん。
I'm a bad
こう
boy.
やって探偵
I'm
の
just
お兄
happy
ち
to
ゃん
be
たちと
talking
話
to
せ
you,
るだ
Mr.
けでも
Investigator, and
小
be
説
like
の
one of the
登場人
characters in
物
my
みたい。
novels. We'll be
その時
back.
は
When we do, we'll
僕
be
たちが
sure
こ
to
の事
tell you
件を
how
どう
we
やって
solved the case.
約束だよ。
Woohoo! Please do.
ノート
No, let's move
Hi.
on. Okay.
バイバイ。
Bye bye. Logical. Alright then, let's go to the lounge.
これで容
We
疑
met
者
up with
全
each
員
of
と会
our
ったわね
suspects now.
本当に
And
みんな
seriously,
とん
not
で
one
も
of
な
their
いスキ
skills
ルの
made a
持
lick
ち
of
主だ。
sense.
マナ現
I'd
象
have
へ
to
の
agree,
認識
they've
が変わる
completely
くらいだっ
changed
て
the way I perceive phenomena. Sergeant? Yes?
あのオッペンハイマー
These
たちは
Oppenheimers, they're not locked
何
up
かしたから
because
ここ
they've
に閉じ込め
committed
ら
a
れている
crime,
わけ
huh?
じゃ
They're
ないん
just
ですよ
forced
ね
to live out their lives here
ただオ
because
ッ
they
ペ
are
ンハイ
born
マーとして生まれ
Oppenheimers.
たから一生ここで暮らさなければいけないん
I
ですよ
think
ね
the chick who can, you know, basically use dominate on people, it implied that she has committed a crime at least. And of course the kid, if he's making cakes for free, that's gonna be so bad for the economy. Just, you know, imagine Jesus comes back and then he creates fish and bread out of thin air and turns water into wine. That's gonna ruin the like food industry and the wine industry and stuff. Like, can he turn whiskey into water? I mean the other way, water into whiskey, because not just wine.
世界の安全のた
I
めとは
know, I know it's for the safety of the
本当に
world,
これ
but
でいいんで
is
しょう
this
か
really okay?
あ
Did I say
また変な
something
ことを
weird
言
again?
いいえ
No?
痛
You
いと
just hit
こ
the
ろを
nail
つ
on
け
the
る
head.
きっと
You're clearly in the
ノー
right
トが
and
正しく
three of us in the wrong.
恥ずかしい話だが
I'm ashamed to say it,
ロンドン
but
で
life
ス
as
テッ
a
パーとして
staffer
生
in
きてき
London
た
seems
僕
to
たち
have
は
desensitized
倫理
us
的な感覚が
when
麻
it
痺
comes
して
to
いる
子
morals.
供の時は
When I
こ
was
んな
young,
風に
I
不
got so
条理
angry
な
with
ことを見
how
たら
irrational this
感
all
情が
was.
抑
Then
えら
one
れな
day
かっ
I
たの
just
に
resigned
ね。
myself to it and
い
started
つからか
thinking there was nothing I
仕
could
方
do
ない
about
かっ
it.
て思うようになっち
Even
ゃ
I
った
can
んだ
turn
よ
whiskey
ね。
into water. I can turn whiskey into piss.
ノート
Note, it's because you grew up outside of London that you're able to
私
see
た
us
ちが目
turning
を背
blind
け
eye
てき
to
たこと
everything.
やっぱり
Of course, since it's you,
うん
why
どうし
are
て
you
こっ
looking
ちを
at
見
me
てる
like
んです
that?
なんとなく
Just because. Well,
この話は
let's talk about this
後でゆっ
later
く
on.
りする
After
こと
all,
に
if we
しま
don't
しょう
solve this case, there might not be a
この事
later
件が
for
解決できなければ
later on for us.
そうですね
Right, let's do that then.
次は
Next, we should
死体
return to
があ
where
る
they
場所
found
に
the
戻
body,
るん
right?
ええ
Yes,
被害
the
者の
room
部
next
屋の
door.
横
We
に
got a
ある
lounge to
休
investigate.
憩室を調べましょう
Okay, lounge.
何度見ても
Even
変わ
at
った
second
作りです
glance, you can
ね
see that this place
まるで
is set
2
up
つの部屋
weird.
が
It looks
合
like the
体した
two
ような
rooms
感
are
じです
actually one.
こんな風に作った理由がある
They
んで
must
しょうね
have a reason for setting
エ
it
ムに
up
聞い
like
た
this.
時は返事をしてくれなかっ
Though
たけど
when we asked me M, she didn't have an answer for us.
確か
She
後
said
で
she'd
説
tell
明
us
す
about
る
it
とおっ
later
しゃい
though,
まし
right?
た
休憩室がこんな
There's
構
no
造で
one
ある理
here
由
who
を
can
覚えてい
remember
る
why
人
it was set up like
一人
this.
もいません。
Not even the architect remembers why.
建築何それ
What?
そのため私た
Thus
ち
we are
は
led to believe that the odd layout of this building is from an
オ
Oppenheimer,
ッペンハイマ
and we
ー
are guessing
ダ
it's
グの
Doug
ス
who
キル
used
に
the
よる
skill
も
to
のだ
make
と
it
考
like
えてい
this.
ます。
Yeah. So maybe the victim manipulated Doug to create this to allow her to kill herself, or somebody else manipulated Doug so to kill the victim. Who was that in the background? Was it her? Did she like? Of course.
物体を作って記憶を
Doug's
操
skill
作
can
する
manipulate
流れを
matter and memories associated
建
with
築家
it.
たちの記
This
憶
would
に
make
ないという
sense
のも
considering even
そ
the
れなら
architect
納
doesn't
得がで
remember
きます
making
ね
it like
です
this.
がダグ
But
がス
what
キルで
exactly
作
is
っ
the
たもの
part
と
he
いう
created?
週刊誌を徹
In a
底的に
facility
確保し
created
てい
to
るこの
isolate
施
each
設に
inmate, it would be
週
better.
刊誌
It
の
would
個
be
人
rather
スペ
odd
ース
to
のた
attach
め
a recreational
共
space
同の
directly
休
to
憩
an
室がある
inmate's
の
cell.
不思本来なら
They would
休
never
憩
have
室がこ
approved
ん
the
な施設に
construction
あ
of
るこ
such
と
a
自体が認められ
space
ない
right
でしょ
next to an inmate's cell. No way, then did Doug create this whole room?
はっきりしたことは
We
分
can't
か
be
りませ
sure
ん
of anything,
私
it's
た
just
ちも
our
そう
guess. But then, does that mean this lounge never existed in the first place?
こんな部屋一つが一瞬で
This
作
room
り出
came
さ
to
れたの
exist
に
in an instant,
誰一
but
人
no
疑問
one
も持たな
found
か
that
ったということ
suspicious.
か。
それすらも
Yet even though the
論理的推
hypothesis
測による
seems
仮説
logical,
に
no
過
one
ぎない
can say for sure.
これが
This
オッペ
this
ン
is
ハ
the
イマ
true
ー
power of an Oppenheimer.
おそらく
If this whole
この
room
休
is a
憩室は
single entity
ダグが
created
スキ
with
ルで
Doug's
作り出した
skill,
もの
how does that affect our
これ
case?
そもそもダ
Why
グ
did
はどう
Doug
して
wish
こんな
for a
構造
lounge
の
like
休
this
憩
in the
室を
first
望
オッ
place?
ペンハイマーの個人スペースに
Someone mentioned that
監視
Oppenheimers
官
were
が
only
許可し
allowed
た
to
物品
bring
のみを持
personal
ち込める
items
と言
into
ってい
their
たわね
rooms after a thorough inspection from the guards, yes?
被害者がどうやって死
We
んだ
can't
のか
tell
は
how
わからな
exactly
い
the
けど
victim died,
もし
but
凶
if
器と
there's a
いうも
murder
のが
weapon
存
in
在
this
すれば
case, it's probably one of
それ
the
はこの
items
休
in
憩
that
室の
lounge.
中にあると思うわ 本棚の本一
Let's
冊
examine every
指
book on
紋
the
一つ
shelf
まで
and every
徹底し
fingerprint.
て
We
調
got
べ
to
ま
be
しょう
thorough.
はい
Alright? Club room time.
冷
Fridge.
蔵庫には
Looks
食べ
like the
物
fridge
が
is
たくさん
stocked
入っ
with
ている
food. Oh, look!
う
What?
何
What
か
is
キ
it?
ャビアがある
They have caviar, a
そ
whole
れも
box of
は
it.
あ
You can tell that
そ
liquor
こに
is
はどう見て
expensive
も
just
高級そう
from
なお
looking at
酒
it. I guess that's for Doug.
これだけ広いス
With
ペース
only
に
4
4
people
人
locked
しか
up
い
in
ないん
such
だ
a
もん
large space, I guess they got the money to
ストレス対策のために
splurge on the good stuff.
週に1日くら
If
い
you're
は
okay
こ
with
こで
living
暮ら
down
すの
here
も
one
悪く
day
ない
a
かも
week,
冗談なのは
I
わ
know
か
you're
るけど
joking, but you should
そんな
refrain
こと
from
言わない
saying
方が
such
いい
things. It's rude to those actually
実
locked
際
up
の
down
収
here.
そういえば
Speaking of
M
good
さんが
stuff,
持って
the
きてくれ
tea
た
Miss
飲み物
M
もかなり美味しかったで
brought
す
you was pretty
あれ
good,
も
right?
高級品だったんで
Was
しょう
that
か
stuff top shelf
そう
too?
ね
Maybe once a month?
じゃあ月に一度くらいなら
ちょっと
Hey, medicine
冷
fridge
たい
is cold.
こ
This
れも
must be a
冷蔵庫
fridge
みたい
too.
扉がガラス
Since
製
the
な
door
の
is
で中が見え
transparent,
ます
we can see
各種薬品
inside.
が保
They've
管さ
got
れ
all
ているよう
sorts
で
of
す
medication stored in here.
扉には鍵がかかって
The
いる
door is locked. I can only
M の
see
指紋しか
M's
残っていないか
fingerprints
ら
on the lock, so it
週刊者
seems
た
as
ちには
though
開けら
our
れないように
inmates
なっ
can't
ている
open it.
当然といえば当然ね
It's
薬
pretty
品とい
obvious,
えば
really. Even the
どん
weakest
な
of
に弱
drugs
く
can
て
be
も
toxic
あ
at the
る
right
程度の属
amounts.
性を持って
Speaking of which, they seem
しかも
like
ここ
strong
にあるのは
medicines you'd only see at a
病院で
hospital.
扱うような強でも
Still, it
結構頻
seems
繁
like
に
it's
開けられ
open
ていた
quite
みたい
often, at least once each day.
そういえば
And
被
speaking
害
of
者は鎮
drugs, we
痛
have a
剤を飲んで
suspect
いた
saying
と
victims
いう
with
陳述
pain
がありましたね
medication.
ダグに
Doug
よれ
said
ば
she took
1ヶ
them
月に
once a
一度く
month.
らいという話でしたが
Mm.
もしかして
You think they keep poison in there too? They said it didn't
い
work on the victim, but
週刊者たちも出入
this
り
is a
する場所だ
place
し
frequented by our inmates, so I doubt they keep highly toxic substances here.
ただ
Still, there's always a chance someone might think of overdosing as a form of suicide, which is why it's probably locked. There was some book. Investigate the book. Detective Brian, has the victim read any of these books? Let's see, there are prints on most of these
被害
books,
者の指紋が
but
残っ
there's
てい
only
る
one
の
book
は
with our
これだ
victim's
けだ
prints on
タイ
it.
トルは
The
鏡
title,
屋
The
敷
Tragedy at the House of Mirrors. Yeah, wasn't that the one the kid mentioned? I've heard that somewhere
ダ
before.
グが言っていた
It's the
推理
mystery
小
novel
説です
Doug
ね
was talking about.
あ
The one he spoiled the ending
被
of.
害者の指紋
This
は
the only one with the
この
victim's
本にし
prints
か
on
ない
it? Yes.
読書が好きなタイ
Maybe
プ
she
では
wasn't
な
a
いという
huge
こ
fan
と
of
かしら
reading, huh?
どうしたんですか
What is it?
誰かが
Someone wrote something
何
down.
の
It's on
変
this
哲もない
page.
挿絵のページに見える
Looks
けど
like your average illustration to me. Oh, strangling somebody? Holding a hand and...
文字みたいなものは
I don't
見
see
当
anything
たりま
that
せん
looks
が
like the letters.
よく見て
Look carefully, you
左上
see
の
that
方に
ink smudge on the
インク
top
が
left
滲んで
of
い
the
るでしょ
page. This one?
ここにメ
There
ッ
was
セ
a
ージが書い
message
てある
written here. Someone must have rubbed it
誰か
away
が
with
唾みたいな
spit
も
or
のでこ
something.
す
I wonder if it's
それ
the
を消したんだ
dominate woman.
挿絵のところに
To
小
write
さ
a
くメッセー
message
ジ
in
が書
such
か
a
れていた
small letters, you'd have a hard time finding it if you
見
didn't
つけるの
read
は困難
the
だったでしょう
book cover to cover.
監視官の目を盗ん
It's
で
highly likely that our
週刊誌同
inmates
士
were
が
sending
メッ
each
セー
other
ジをやり
messages
取
where
り
the
していた
guards
可能
couldn't
性が
find
高い
them.
事務長
Sergeant, you restored the
破り取
message
られた
written
メモ
on
に
the
書かれていた文字を復元
Could
し
you
てい
do
ま
it
したよ
again?
ね。
残念だけど
Unfortunately, the writer didn't press down very hard on the writing instrument, so it'd be hard to ask
なんとか読み
or
取れた
hard
単語は
ask.
2つだけ
I can only make two words:
食事と
meals and die. died, then this could be related to our case. I'd say I'm about 99% certain you're right. If only we could figure out who wrote the message.
ブリアンさん、わか
Can
り
you
ますか
figure that out, Detective Brian?
いや
No.
本を閉
When
じると
whoever wrote it
内側
closed
に
the
残っ
book,
ていた
all the
痕跡
trace
が
was
押しつぶされ
compressed
て
into
消えてしまう
nothingness.
の
It
だ
would be
僕のス
hard
キ
to
ルで
figure
調べ
out
るのは
that
難しい
with
と
my
思う
skill.
あら
Ah, there's something
最
tucked
後
in
の
the
ペ
back
ージに
page.
何か挟まってる
読書感想文
Impressions? I see
ダ
Doug
グは
spelled
こ
the
こ
ending
に
here
もネタバ
too.
レを残しておいたんですね
You are required to write your impressions after reading this book. Douglas twist. Please write on the next line with the top down. Douglas twist about this attempt at saving the victim, actually killing her was just the best. So cool. Moral Elroy. It was good, but in order to portray the protagonist as super clever, people around him seemed sort of dumb. So self-aware game. Mithril Roger, that was very helpful, thank you. Okay, that's a bit obvious. Now I'm thinking maybe she's been framed.
本を読んだら
It
必
says
ず
that
読
all
書感
inmates
想
who
文
read
を
the
書
book
く
must
こ
write their impressions
と
about it.
それじゃあこの小説を読んだのはここ
And
に
it
名
seems
前
that
があ
only
る
3
3
of our
人だけという
inmates
こ
read
とで
this
すね
novel. Well, of course, the fourth one isn't allowed to write.
そしてメッ
And
セ
the
ージ
person
を
who
残
wrote
し
the
た
message must be one of
この
these
3
3.
人の
この読書感想文
I
は
should take
持っ
this
てい
list
くの
of
が良さそうだ
impressions with
本
me.
のページも破って
Shall
持っ
we
ていき
tear out
ま
the
しょう
page and take it with us?
え
Can
勝手
we
に破
really
って
just
いいん
rip a
ですか
page out of the book?
大丈夫
It'll be fine. This
今
is an
非常事態
emergency.
だから
Floor.
被害者
I
を
got
含めて
footprints from all our Oppenheimers, including our victim. However, there are a few days between each set. It seems that no two people have ever set foot in this lounge at the same
基
time.
本的に
That's
週刊者
probably
同士の
because
交
contact
流は
between
禁
the
止だと言っ
inmates
て
is
いましたから
generally
ね
forbidden.
一番古いの
The
は
oldest footprints are those of Shea Berryfin,
1ヶ
left
月前
1 month ago. She's the one who, the dominate woman, right?
一人だけかなり時間
That's a
が
while
経って
back. It seems that the other
他の
inmates
週
are
刊誌たち
coming
は
in
大
here
体
about
10
every 10 days or
訪問
so.
していたようだが
最近スキルが使
Maybe
われた
because
と
she
言って
used
い
her
たから
skill frequently, they're putting more restrictions on her.
そうですね
Possibly
そ
it
の可
makes
能性
sense.
は十分にあると思います
Oh, glass wall.
外から見たときは
I
わからな
couldn't
かった
tell
ん
from
です
the
が
outside, but this
この
wall
壁
is
は
glass.
向かい側に被害者の部
You
屋
can
が
see
見えま
into
す
the victim's room from here.
壁に文字のような
I see
痕跡が
evidence
残
of
っている
messages having been written here.
息と一緒に
I can hear breathing and feel a puff of heat. Did Doug say he...
このガラスの壁に
Doug did say he wrote letters on the glass and blew on them to communicate with the victim. That's probably the trace you're picking up.
他の容疑者たちも同じ
And there's
方
a
法
high
で被
likelihood
害
that
者と
our
コミュニケ
other
ーションを取って
suspects
いた
had
可能
used
性
a
があり
similar
ます
method to communicate with the
基本
victim.
的に週刊誌同士の
All the
交流は
detainees are
禁止されている
prohibited from talking with each other, but it
被害
looks
者
like the
だけ
victim
は
was the
例外だ
exception
った
to
と
that
考える
rule.
べきね
すべての容疑者
There's
が
high
被害者の
probability
こ
each
と
of
を
the
よ
other
く知ってい
suspects
た可
knew
能
the
性があ
victim
り
as
そう
well.
そして
Also, that could lead to a possible grudge forming for one of them.
大体
I
全
think
部
we
見たわ
see all we can.
パニの言う通りなら
But like Pandy
この
said,
中に
isn't
被
there
害者の
something
命
in
を奪
here
った
that
もの
was
があるってこと
responsible
でしょ
for the victim's
で
death?
も被
I
害
don't see
者のスキ
anything
ルを
in
破っ
here
て
that could
殺
have
せるくら
passed
い
by the
強力
victim's
なものなんて
skill and killed her.
そもそも
I'm not sure a weapon that can break through her skill even exists. No, is there anything that stands out to you? There is.
被害者のスキル
The
は常
victim's
時
skill
発
is
動され
always
てい
in
て
effect, and
危害
normally
を
it
加え
severs
ると思われ
connection
る
with
ものは
anything
す
that
べ
could
て
harm
断ち
her
切られ
body.
ですがそ
However,
の
the
被
one
害者
thing
に影
that's
響を
able to
与え
have
ら
a
れたもの
noticeable
が
effect on
こ
her
の休
body
憩室の中にあ
is
り
in
ま
the
した
lounge. Is it the drugs? Pain medication.
被害者の命を
The
奪った
one
凶
thing
器は
able to kill the
こ
victim
の
is
冷
the
蔵庫に
medicine
保
in
管
the
されてい
fridge.
る
冷蔵庫の中の
Medicine
薬
in the
正
fridge?
確に言うと
Specifically the
鎮
pain
痛剤でしょ
medication,
え
right?
え被害者はこの鎮痛剤
There's a
を
high
過剰摂取して
probability
死
the
んだ可
victim
能
could
性
have
が高いで
overdosed
す
on pain
いやい
medication.
や
No, no, the
被害
victim's
者
skill
のスキル
severs
は
the
毒
effects
性
of
物質も断ち
all
切るって言っ
toxins.
てたじゃない
They said it
猛
stops
毒すら効
poisons,
かな
then
いと
how
いうの
would
に
pain
鎮痛
medication
剤で
work
死
on
ぬ。
被
her?
害者の管理情報による
According
と
to her bureau file,
ス
the
キルが断
target
ち
of
切る
her
対象
severing
は
skill
被
changes
害者
with
の
her
心理に
mindset.
よって変わるそうです。もともと鎮痛剤の
Painkillers
効果
weren't
は
created to bring
人体
harm
に
to a
害を与
person's
えるもの
body,
ではありませんよね。
but it's possible that
で
her
すか
skill
ら
doesn't sever
被害
those
者のスキル
effects.
によって断ち切られなかった可能性があります。
Let's read her. No, that's the victim. Why can't we zoom in on this one? So Mithril Rodger was transported to this facility on 1960X 15th of October. There are no records of her from that before that time. So how many years ago was that? Rodger's skill disconnects her body from anything deemed threatening, whether that be physical or chemical. Most threats are immediately severed automatically regardless of Rodger's will in the matter. There are exceptions regarding on Rodger's mindset. What her skill deems threatening can change depending on how Rodger thinks of something. For example, alcohol is toxic to the body, but Rodger seems to be ignorant of that fact. Thus her skill doesn't cut its effects and her body is allowed to absorb it. Well, if that's the case, then yeah, surely there's gonna be something that's... How about just get her, make her drink like 1 trillion liters of booze? That should kill her. Opposite that, even though oysters are known toxic foodstuff, Rodger once witnessed a person die of food poisoning after eating them, so her body does not process them. So yeah, then it could be easily the dominate woman. She could easily convince her that something that's harmful to her isn't harmful. So yeah, maybe it's not suicide, maybe it was the dominate woman who had her killed.
いや、
Actually,
そう
it's
だった可能性が
extremely
かなり
likely.
高いです。
According to Doug, after all, the
ダグが言
victim
った
said
通
she
りなら
took pain
そ
medication.
うか
I see.
それは被
That
害者
means
に
the
鎮
medication
痛剤の
worked
効
on
果
our
が
効き
victim.
もしない薬を
There's
使
no
ったよう
way
な
she
はず
would
はないけ
continue
ど
taking medication if it had
ノ
no
ートの
effect
推
on
理に
her.
は
Your logic
一
is
理あ
sound
る
though.
それじ
Then
ゃ
maybe the
被
victim
害
took
者
too
は
many
無
pills on
されち
accident and... No, we
鎮痛
talked
剤の
about
毒
that
性が
before.
命
For
を奪
pain
うほどのレベ
medications
ルに
like
なる
that
に
to be
は
toxic, you'd
長
have
期
to
間
be
過剰
taking
摂
them
取する必
at
要があ
high
ります。
doses over a long period of
単
time.
純なミスくらいで
If it's just a
死に至
mistake
り
in
はしないで
doses,
しょ
it wouldn't be enough to kill her.
誰かが
So
被
maybe
害者に
someone
長
was
期間
slowly feeding her high
大量
doses
の
of
鎮
pain
痛剤を
medicine
飲
over
ま
a
せた
long
んだ
enough time.
それじゃあやっぱ
And
り
it's as we
殺人
thought. Murder, huh?
施設に閉じ込められ
The
管理
target
された
locked
生
up
活
in
を
this
送っている被
facility,
害者
carefully monitored
定
and
期的に
controlled. To
毒性
think
の
someone
物質を
could
飲
be
ませるとし
slipping
た
her a toxic substance
食事の
for
配膳の
oops,
過程で仕込まれた可能性が高いでしょ
toxic substance for long enough. There's a high possibility someone altered the food distribution process in some way.
食事か。
The meals.
偶然とは思え
It's
ない
hard
が
to consider this a
まずは
coincidence. But
配
first of
膳がど
all,
うやっ
we
て
need
さ
to
れている
know
の
how
か調
food
べ
is
ないと。
distributed.
M さん、オッペンハイマーた
Miss
ちの
M,
食
how
事
were
は
meals
どうやっ
prepared
て準
here?
備され
Since
るんで
that's
す
a
か？
that's a
これ
question
は施
about the
設に関する
facility.
質
You
問
can
なの
answer
で
that, right?
答えていただけますよね。
食事は1日
We
に
give
3
our
回
give out meals 3 times a day.
朝食は7時
Breakfast is
昼食は
at 7,
12
lunch is at
夕
12,
食
and
は
dinner
18
at 6.
食事は基本
We
的に
normally
オッペン
prepare
ハイ
that
マー
what
が
our
希望したものを準
Oppenheimers
備します
request, but on days
特
they
に
don't
希
put
望が
out
な
an
い日
order, we serve them a
栄養バランス
balanced
食材
meal.
の確
We
保
have
に
a
関して
person who's in
別
charge
の
of
担当者
supplying
が
the
います
ingredients, but I handle everything
調理
from
か
the
ら配膳まで
cooking to the
全て私が
distribution of the
任されてい
food.
ます
Oh. We need to use hexalogic to solve this. Yeah, but I think it's gonna be much later.
調理した食事は
Then I dish out all the
全て
food
プラ
onto
スチックのトレー
plastic
に入れ
trays and deliver it to our
調
Oppenheimers.
理までしてるんだ
Then you cook it all yourself.
間に他の人
That
が
means
介
there's
入
no
する
room
余地は
for
なさ
anyone
そ
to
う
slip something into it.
ちなみに
Is there
料理や
perhaps
配膳
anything
の
of
過程
note
で
about how you
何か特
prepare
別
or
なこと
deliver
は
the
し
し
food?
ますベル
There
フィン
is
の
to
食事は
prevent
音
any
が
sort
外
of
に漏れないよ
sound
う
from
に
escaping
特殊な
Berfin's
受け渡し
room.
口を使って提供します
I pass her food through that special door.
これは前にも
We
聞いた
talked
話
about
だ。
that
それから
before.
被害者
As for the
ロジャーの
victim,
食事
I
には
grind up
鎮
20
痛剤
tablets
20
of
錠
pain
を粉々に
medication and
砕いて
sprinkle
振
it
りか
into
けてい
her
ます
meal.
お
Huh? What did you just say?
え
No, what?
何を
Why?
考えているんで
Why
す
on
か
earth would you presume to do such a
もち
thing?
ろん被
Why
害者の
else?
健康のためです
To maintain the health of our
私たち
inmate
の施
is
設
one
の
of the
規則です。
principles this facility is founded upon.
なんでそんな
That's
バカなことを
ridiculous. That sort of
そ
thing
んな
would
こと
make
を
an
して
inmate
健
more
康
he-
になるわけが
wouldn't
ない
make
じゃ
an
ないです
inmate
か。
more health. So I guess she's been dominated by the dominator woman, dominatrix.
いえ、健康に
No,
なり
it
ます。
really does.
それ
It's
が
one
規
of
則
our
ですから。
founding principles.
そんなに真
Is
面目に言
anyone
われ
else
ると
finding it extremely
私
odd
が
that
お
she
か
is
しい
so
のかな
serious
って
about
思い
this? No, I'm pretty sure
今
you're
回
right
テレ
about
が
that, Thena.
おかしいのは
The strange
監視
thing
官
is that our
そ
guard
れも
M isn't
こ
able
の
to
問
think
題に
logically
限っ
about
て
this
論
one
理
issue
的
in
な思考
particular.
が不可能
It's
な
like
状態
something is derailing her thought process.
これはまさか
And wait, is the
エ
reason
ム
for
さんが
Miss
おか
M's
しな
strange
ことを言っ
claims
ている
because
原
of
因
that?
はあれのせいなのか。
Obviously. Compulsory trust. That sounds like a polite way of saying mind rape. Compulsory trust. Compulsory trust.
それは
That's
サイアベリフィン
sheer
のスキルか
Berryfin's skill, right?
それしか
Indeed,
ない
there's no other explanation. M has already
その
fallen
スキルに
victim to
支
that
配され
woman's
ていた
skill.
被害者の健康のた
For
め
the
に
sake of the victim,
食事に鎮
sprinkling
痛剤
pain
を混ぜな
medication
ければい
onto
け
her
ない規則
food
が
is
あ
a
る。
founding principle
ベ
here.
リフィンさんが
If
そんな嘘をつい
Berryfin
て
implanted
ス
a
キルを
false
発
thought
動
like
した。
that using her
そ
skill,
のせいで被害者の
that's when
食
the
事に
victim began
大量の
consuming
薬
large
が混
doses
入
of
される
pain
ことになった
medication
んで
with
す
her
ね。
meals.
被
That
害者が死
continued
ん
right
で
up to
配
the
膳が
moment she
止ま
died.
しかも本人は
Miss
被
M
害者
began
の
to
健
believe
康のた
that
めに
such
や
a
ったこと
thing
だと信じ
was
て
what the
疑うこ
victim
ともない。
wanted.
それじゃあ
Then, if that's the case, our murderer is
あいつ
the con artist.
突然の展開
It
だっ
was
た
rather
が、
sudden, but it seems
結
to
果的
figure
に
out
黒
who the
幕が
culprit
誰なの
is.
か判明した。
Now, yeah, now I'm thinking it's suicide. Like maybe, or maybe the victim convinced the dominatrix to dominate this woman because I think that the victim wanted to die because she couldn't die. So of course you wanna die if you
サ
can't.
イヤ・ベリフィン。
Mishia
あの女性
Berryfin,
がこの
she's the
犯行を
mastermind
計
behind
画
this
したんだ。
crime. Logical. It's not very mastermind. It's quite obvious if
ノート
she's selling it like that. But I guess I'm gonna end the stream here though. I should go wake up my son from his nap. But at least now we can end in a cliffhanger, so I can feel like Sylvester Stallone. So I'm not Sylvester Stallone though. I'm Adventure Argonaut. I thank you for watching and bye bye.